He's such an amazing human.
In the 20, like one of my 20th maybe episodes, something like that.
Oh, early.
He was like, I was the most proud to get him, I feel like, to come do the podcast.
I would have said that same thing. Like when he was on our board, like
he
anytime.
100% would be like somebody I would do for this version of the podcast too. Didn't have anything to do with beer. Didn't have to.
Do you know he like has a side, well, a bunch of sides.
Blowing glass or woodwork or
all of it. Like you should have him on just for that. Be like, let's not even talk about.
We talked about that a little bit, and he talked about his journey, like starting with blowing glass or something years before, and I can't remember the whole story, but it was like, I think we did it in 2018, I think, he and I loved it. Like he probably wouldn't even remember me if I saw him, but he was phenomenal.
Yeah. I just get really like, whenever he comes up, he goes, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I really heart you. You're so nice."
What is funny too, because Jude is such a big fan of theirs and probably his too, I would imagine, just personally, and like the whole thing, like, but Jude lived over there and then they end up taking over the old space and like the whole story kind of comes together. Jude's like the biggest half-acre buff, but they also remind me of each other a little bit physically.
Oh, you think so?
Like it's the way they dress maybe, or like the way they, and like the conversations that they can have can go anywhere. Like, they're not one-dimensional people as far as I can tell. I mean, I just started recording, and so we'll cut whatever we need to cut. But let me just start by welcoming in my friend Katie Carrier. Woo!
Yay!
I'm very pumped to see you, to have you. I mean, we do live in the same neck of the woods, so we end up frequenting the same brewery quite a bit.
This is true.
Sometimes I'm working there, sometimes I'm just there hanging out, and there you are.
And here I am. And now I'm in your Jodo.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, did you just name it for me?
I did. It's not the dojo. It's the Jodo.
I like this. Okay. You guys heard that, right? I didn't have to make it up. Somebody else made it up, so therefore I can keep it. That's fair.
It is yours. It is yours to have.
The Jodo. I'm going to have a little logo or something. I have to have them repaint this, the Jodo.
Or like a little bubble that comes out.
The Jodo podcast show. All right. Well, Katie, I wanted to... Really, I've been wanting to talk to you for a while on this. We got to know each other a little bit through the craft beer world, and you are I don't want to like over or understate like how important you are to Chicagoland and Illinois craft beer as a whole, but you are currently you're serving as the associate director of the Craft Brewers Guild of Illinois. Yes, so that's the whole big state.
Been there over a decade,
which is bananas.
It is, isn't it?
Was your
I think get a life, Katie.
Your first appearance on the show was indeed with the Craft Brewers Guild, right?
It was for.
Was that Danielle, you, and Alex? Did we do that?
There was like a bunch of us women.
Well, we did a women's brew day at Skeleton Key once. I think you may have been a part of that.
Yeah.
We rotated people in and out all day.
There was another one.
But then we did one in the back of Alter, I think, like in like the private space, the original Alter Brewing. And Danielle was on, and I think Love and Good was on with you. You're like, holy shit.
That was wow. My brain doesn't go that far back.
Your mind.
You did, right? Yeah, so that was a while ago.
Yes, so this isn't your first rodeo with me and microphones. It
is not. But it's the first time with the videos.
Yeah, in the Jodo.
The Jodo.
Just so everybody knows that trademark, copyright, the Jodo. Here, I love doing shout outs, so we might as well well, cheers. We got Workforce Glass, Hot Butcher Glass with some, I think this is a double IPA from Half Acre called 8 Billion Genies.
Delightful.
Yeah, pretty good. Nice and hazy. I love me some craft beer. Strata, Mosaic, Citra. Katie's been doing this so long, I would think that maybe by now she's gone full circle and hates craft beer. We did talk a little bit about Twisted Tea before we started rolling, so
you can never go wrong with some Twisted Tea.
Can't go wrong.
When we were out in Vegas for craft beer conference, that was kind of, when you're in Vegas, there's not a ton of craft beer options, and
that was this past
in April.
April,
yeah. They had like the big cans of the Twisted Tea or the Twisted Tea Arnold Palmer.
Wait, why? Is that something that they thoughtfully had on hand for you guys, or is this something you went and sought out?
No, most definitely.
Well, I could see it. You know how it is. I mean, how many beer festivals from 2016 to 2020 were you at where it was like, where somebody's got a stash of High Lifes around here somewhere, and I'm going to find them.
You've been to Fobab, have you not?
Everything.
In the VIP lounge,
I indeed was part of a group at some point that we convinced somebody to fill a bucket down in that little area. We were in the lounge because when I was with Phase 3, we had...
Oh, this was at UIC when you guys did
UIC.
Yeah, you were the first year to do the...
Yes, we brought the whole Phase 3, so shout out to the boys.
It was beautiful. That setup, I still use the pictures for an example of what it could be.
Love that setup.
Yeah, those
it was
neons.
A lot of work.
Those neons, where did you get them from?
Shouts out. I think Brittany had a hookup. Brittany Burns, co-owner, and Everything Visual to start at Phase 3 Brewing. And Brittany, I don't remember. I remember we got them. Brittany had a hookup for something, and they were wild. And we brought basically the tap room itself into the place with... Shit, did we bring 8 or 4 taps? I can't remember. I think we brought 2 kegerators, maybe just 1 kegerator. No,
it was
we
a
brought
whole
both.
Table, yeah. It was a whole thing.
We brought 8. We brought an 8, 2
you were
4
locked
taps.
and loaded.
2 4 taps. Yeah, we had lulls. We had barrel aged stuff. We had all kinds of crazy shit. It was wild.
Weren't we? Was it there? See, it all sometimes blends together.
Oh, I know.
Someone tried to do that might have been at the old one at the Forum, like a pulley system where you made a bucket and then they.
No, we did that at the UIC
because we were just so
who do you think
lazy.
Who do you think was standing next to me when we were doing that? Who do you think the
I'm
help
sure it
was?
was Lovingood.
It was Mr. Alex Lovingood.
Yeah.
I believe this was post Barntown even. Like he just happened to be walking around there and hung out with us for a little while, and I saw a bucket and some string and I said, "Hey, I don't remember if we got Vicky maybe. Somebody was down there."
No, I remember being part of it because I was like, this is actually really smart, even though we only had to go upstairs.
Idea,
it was horrible.
But it worked.
It was amazing. It was great.
It worked.
And you got the High Lifes.
We got the High Lifes. That was all that really mattered. I remember like Evan was there, Sean was there. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
But that was my last Fobab actually. So
what?
Yeah, that was the last time I was at Fobab. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of new.
I just had the privilege of having Charlotte on, so Charlotte was toting the Lager Lounge.
Yeah, because it wasn't there.
I know.
That area was empty.
I know. I'm very excited that I'll get to be there this year. So shout out to Kristen Tassie Communications, Julie Thornson, right? Yeah, Julie. I don't know if I know Julie. I don't know if I've ever met Julie, but I get emails from her a lot, so that's awesome.
She's amazing. She's like one of those that she's everywhere and anywhere, but you almost never ever see her.
Really? She's good. she figured it out.
She's that good.
She's those people that actually know what work-life balance is. Is that what you're telling me?
No, she's just magical, and she just
unicorn-esque.
Yeah, Tassie, Kristen, and Julie, they're Team Tassie Communications, and they rock it out.
Kristen goes hard for me. I mean, she's awesome. Like, I had my little podcast in 2018, and I sent an email off like, "Could I please be a media person at Fobab or whatever it was?" And she gave me I think she hooked me up my first media pass to anything. I don't remember if it was Beer Under Glass or Fobab or what.
I feel like it was Fobab.
It probably was, and she was so cool about getting it. And then it was like, "Hey, my wife's gonna be like my camera person or like my help," and she's like, "It's fine, just you guys can come." Yeah,
we're pretty lenient. We want your team to be able to work.
I feel like it was 2019, maybe the year before we did the Phase 3 one. I showed up way too early for a Fobab, and you were there. And like I think Josh was there, Crane was there.
19, and it would have been at the Forum.
Made a huge mistake showing up too early. You were like, "Oh, you're done doing anything?" You're like, "Check that out. We need ice over there." You are on another level during Fobab.
I'm like one of those people. I feel like that it carried on from when I was younger. I'll never forget that. I played soccer growing up, my whole life and into college, and people used to meet me for the first time off the field. So they meet me on the field.
Psychopath.
And they'd be like, "We're really scared of you. You're like a horrible, mean person. Like you're gonna hurt us." And then they'd meet me out the field and like, "You're really different." And I'm like, "Well, I'm like all business on the field." And I feel like sometimes it might be like Fobab. I mean, I hope I'm not scary. I hope. But it's like
I've heard great stories about you at Fobab. So
thanks. I try, but you got to get the job done. And if I see Joe Bobby walking around being like,
yeah, if you have hands and you're like idle walking around, like I get it. I totally get it. And it was awesome. It was so fun just running down on the floor and just being like, who needs what? It's like, hey, we got this big clear plastic bags. We need to get ice into them. We need to get kegs into those.
And also, you see a Josh Crane, like you can't. He's gonna hold like 67 bags in one hand.
No sleeves.
So of course no sleeves. He doesn't believe in sleeves.
Well,
the
sweat's real. So man. That's our guy. That's everyone's guy. That's the best. He's the best. He's just a helpful human being. Well, before we get too deep, and we're talking about craft beer and Fobab. Sometimes I forget that this isn't a eccentric craft beer podcast anymore. But Fobab being Festival of Barrel Aged Beers held in Chicago. It's the marquee event, right, for the city. I mean, it's the marquee event for Chicago.
I would think so. I mean, it's been around for over 20 years.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing that we do.
It is actually not just the biggest thing here locally. It is the largest barrel aged festival in the nation.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I can put a pinky up. I don't care.
No, Pete Crowley knew what he was doing back in the day.
Don't be too modest. Here. That's all I'm saying. You don't need to be modest.
No, it's a large party, and I can't think of another event that has unique beer. That some of it, I mean, as you know, is brewed just for Fobab. You may never have it again.
Wild.
It's crazy to me. I mean, and even my first Fobab before I was even part of the guild, like I think about, wow, I tried something that was never made again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mind blowing.
There was probably a year, I wonder if it was your year that you came early, where Sam Adams sent Utopia, but it was a cherry Utopia. So it was like it was a unicorn, and it was only just for Fobab. So I mean, like kind of weird fun stuff.
It was weirdly unique in the fact that, yes, it's a big money commercial brewery kind of being Sam Adams, but it's also like you don't get that from that because they can't do that because they can't scale like that, scale backwards like that. But how cool. We're used to like experimental things in local breweries, and we're gonna peel off 5 gallons of this and add fucking coffee beans and whatever else.
Malort.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
No, I'm not.
Every time it's always some sort of Malort, and Charlotte's usually.
I was just gonna say, how many shots of
connected.
Malort did you have with Charlotte?
She's connected to it somehow, some way. Even the last time I went to Dark Lord, it was like the longest line was like there was Malort coffee.
Yeah.
Like it from Dark Matter or something. It was like the longest line there for anything.
People love it.
Like, what are we even doing here, guys? I get it. We're supposed to push it. We're supposed to the handshake. We're supposed to be those people. I think Charlotte may be one of the only humans I know that actually likes it, or she's a good actress.
There's a handful of people, and it's I think it's such an acquired taste. It's not one I have. I always describe it as just it's like a Campari or like any of those tastes. I can't do it.
It pisses me off to no end because I'm not going to be the guy that's like no.
I am.
I will just do it. Or I'll come up. It's hard to come up with an excuse.
You can ask Charlotte on her birthday. I felt very peer pressured.
She got shut down.
There was a whole group, and they were like, "Katie, you're doing the shot with all of us," and I was like, "I can't, guys. I can't. Just nope." And it was peer pressure, and then they understood why. Like after they did, they were like, "Oh, you were not lying." I'm like,
I just be telling people I'm pregnant always. Like I'm just always pregnant, guys. Just deal with it. Like,
that's my excuse.
Be like, you're drinking wine right now. We're like, yep.
Yeah, doctor said it was fine, but Malort, nope.
That wormwood shit'll get you every time.
God. Yeah.
So I mean, it's November. We're recording this early November. We'll be out probably in the next 5-6 days. So it's what is your life like right now?
Oh, pure chaos.
It's fucking right there. Because what date's 22nd, 23rd? Mm-hmm. So November 22nd, November 23rd. You guys see there's 2 sessions. I'll let you talk about it. But.
So I don't even count the 21st, but the 21st is like our setup, and we have the dinner, and so life is like non-existent. Like family doesn't exist anymore.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah. Bye.
Rob, love you.
Yeah, see you later. See you on Friday, remember, when you're going to be working and pretend like I don't even know you because I treat you like the rest of the volunteers, which is funny. People are like, that's your husband.
Move
like,
faster.
Yeah. Like he needs to do his job.
He's a peasant is what he is right now, guys.
I don't even know him.
Sorry about it. Here, we can even share on the screen here while you talk a little bit.
There you go.
Through some of this.
So yeah, Friday and Saturday.
Tickets still available.
Tickets are still available.
Look at us. We're nailing this whole marketing thing.
I mean, right?
The Credit Union One Arena.
Yeah. On Friday, though, during the day, what some people don't know is actually all the judging is where occurs then.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Has that always been like that?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Which is
that's kind of
super Looney Toony if you think about it.
I guess they got to have it ready by mid session on Saturday, right? To announce.
Yeah,
winners.
by 1
I guess
o'clock.
That makes a ton of sense.
It's a lot though, and I will tell you the team, the judging team, coordinating team is phenomenal. Brian Eichhorn leads a team with Travis Kick, formerly Tighthead, Garrett Lewis, Travis Stein. There's like a whole group of them, and they just have this process. It's unbelievable. You have all this beer, these judges, and I don't know how they do it. Like, they're magical.
I know you're kind of locked into like the organization of it, the event planning,
all of it.
Vendors, getting all like. So how deep do you get into like the judging piece of it? Like, do you know exactly their process, or is that like you kind of know a little bit about the process?
I know their process.
Like,
I've watched
wizard
it.
Shit.
I do not want to ever have to do that process. And I will say, Brian is a judge, so he knows the ins and outs of that. I could never pretend for 1 second that I could run it the way he does. And
do they have like standards? Like what is like the threshold to become a judge? Or
yeah,
like
you get a lot of people that reach out, and so we have a lot of returners. Some judges that are like they haven't missed a year, right? A lot of them, are in the brewing industry, or they're judges that are renowned and they judge other places. We actually have a couple that come in from like Brazil and other countries to judge, and they're known that way. I don't really know if there's like a set critique, but Brian knows a lot of people from the judging world, and so he also knows, like, even as a brewer, like, do they seem to have a good palate? Just like a cook, right? If you've watched any of those Gordon Ramsay shows, you got to have.
So it's like, it's part science, it's part feel, it's part like reading people and reading the room. Like, and before we run too far off into this, do you want to give like a quick little rundown of what those 2 days are like?
Yeah.
Like, when it comes, like, because it's a festival, right?
It's a festival.
It's fucking big beers usually. The majority are big beers. Yep. It's a lot of beers. It's all you can drink. It's all that stuff. But kind of like, why does it exist? Why,
sure.
How do you tie the actual event, or like the contest, quote unquote, into it?
Yeah. So it was started by Pete Crowley.
Shout out, Pete.
Hello. And the cool thing about it is that, the idea was barrel aged, and it has just grown exponentially to the point where, well, one, it's not just local, right? It's not just Illinois centric. It's nationwide. I think there's like 25 different nations. Geez, yeah, right.
Multicultural. That's what we do. It's what we do.
No, we've had.
We know differences between states and countries around here.
Yeah, I have SMRT.
Checking you guys, making sure you guys do.
But 25 different states across the nation. We've had other, countries involved. Customs sometimes makes it a little bit difficult. But when they're like, it's stuck in customs, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know. That's not my forte.
Just get it here.
Yeah. Can you get it delivered?
I already have an incompetent husband I'm dealing with. I can't deal with you too.
On the front. Which let's be real, like Rob is.
He's the man.
Crazy.
The man.
Awesome at running the front. But so. Fobab has just grown. It, started the first year in like the Plumbers Hall with, I think there were like 8 or 9 breweries. And now this year there's 80 breweries.
Holy shit.
Which we do have to cap it. So our sweet spot's between like 170, 200, and there's about 350 entries, I think it is. And there's, is it 13 different categories? Because we added a new one this year. So we have a new category called blended beer. As you know, in beer, like
fancy
things
beer.
get a little crazy, right?
Yep.
So it's a competition, and then it's a festival. And so not just barrel aged beer, but the cool Lager Lounge ran by my girl Czar. And then Revolution, for the second year in a row, is hosting their NA Lounge. So they have their Super Zero.
Super Zero. Got some in the fridge. Love Super Zero.
It's delicious, right?
It's
Nice
great.
little quench. And then, of course, Goose Island is outside with their rail car. And then new last year and returning is Bardstown.
I saw that, and my first instinct was like, why? What are you?
Why am I trying to kill you?
You want to give people more? and me and Charlotte, I think we actually talked about it real quick on the podcast about like, okay, that makes they're gonna do it responsibly. It'll be small, a little small thing to little curveball. It's funny that you mentioned the rail car last time I was there. I think that was when it got vandalized, right?
Yeah,
it got vandalized.
So it was tagged.
Goose Island, the Goose Island.
It was also tagged again last year, and so
no shit.
Even with security there, I don't know the taggers are ninjas. I swear, because we've watched video
so good.
the one year. All you see is paint. You don't even see a hand. and then you don't see their feet under the rail car. Like, I don't know if they have like the Spider-Man sticky or I don't know how they do it. It amazes me. I wish I could actually see how it was done. But
it's an honor.
It was.
It's an honor to
it
be
did happen
tagged.
again last year.
Silence like fuck.
I know. Well, and then we're like, go get more turpentine. So this year the joke is, hopefully it doesn't happen, but we'll have turpentine on hand.
Does anybody like volunteer to guard it at night?
There's security.
Oh my god.
But
just
this
sit
year
at the rail car.
Bardstown is bringing their trailer, and I was like, I just have to let you know.
Thank God.
You could get tagged. However, I didn't really realize until they pointed out, they're like, well, it is a rail car, Katie. So it's kind of like a tagger's dream. Like, they're just like, you brought this gift for us?
You are asking for it at that point.
Yeah. So
anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off the rail.
Because the crazy things that people don't know about that do happen, and that we're like scrambling to try to clean up and make look nice.
Oh my God.
Although they did leave the 312.
Yeah.
So if you look at the rail car, there is like a 312 tag that they left because they're like, well,
that's our beer. We'll take it.
Kind of goes. Yeah.
We'll take it. It's on brand.
It works.
It was 100% on brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I've helped, but not done like a full day volunteer for outside, because I was working for Phase 3, at the time. So I was actually working our lounge when I was there, but there's a lot going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way you can like describe,
Sure.
even just from your perspective, like what are you doing? Like what is, what is it, Friday morning? You said you guys start setting up Thursday. So like, walk us through that. Take us through. You don't need to even leave details out. I got all night. So,
all right. So then we'll start with Wednesday. Wednesday, I have a cool group of people that meet me at the storage unit. We take an empty U-Haul and we have like the biggest storage unit you can have. And it's filled to the brim with Fobab stuff. We load that truck. So that's the start. And that's the woohoo, okay, get a good night's sleep. And that to me is like 2 hours.
Everybody.
Yeah, like woohoo. So Thursday morning, we head down. We get there, and that's the calm of like everyone dropping off their product, getting kind of just getting our toes wet, like figuring everything out, like doing a little walkthrough and going, okay, like let's envision this. Like this amazing team of people, which, have been helping with Fobab for some of them like a decade. You got like the Carl Rutherford and Adam Lovingood, Jason Lee. Mm-hmm. As I had mentioned, Josh and Charlotte and Katie Hoffman and Vicaloo Reed. Hey. Let's not forget about Vicky Reed.
Just the boots. When when the boots are there, it's going down.
You do.
Shit's gonna get done.
So this is like a solid team. There's a whole group of them, and I'm missing a million names, but so we all kind of look together, and they all really know like their marching orders. And so you have the front of the house, so just kind of like a restaurant. You have the entrance where people are entering. So you have all the glasses and all that jazz to kind of get up and set up. And then you have my girl Mia, who's running merch. So she's getting merch all prettied up. And then we have my crew that works the brewer sponsor media check-in and kind of getting all that going. But again, it's slow, and it's really like unloading the truck and setting every area up. Then all the beer is delivered. Now you have beer for the floor. So you have beer.
So how's the beer delivered? Is the beer like gathered at a central location and then brought that day before, or is it like piecemealed together?
Kind of piecemealed. So like the beer that's shipped in, that's delivered then by a distributor, and then everything else that's dropped off day of, it's coming.
You're just hoping these breweries are just like, come on, baby.
It's labeled.
Get it here. Come on.
Well, and they have that window, and they know, and they'll be calling or texting.
Oh my God.
And then the craziest is when some have been shipped like directly because they missed the window. And I don't know who taught them how to ship beer, but I can't like the box is soaked. There's broken
You're talking like
bottles.
Out of state folk?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's a sad and disappointing thing because that's, blood, sweat, and tears. That's barrel aged. And so we try to do what we can to figure that out or find. One year it was the package was delivered, and we're all like, there's 3 of us running around the outside of USA trying to figure out where this damn package was delivered to.
Right, because this is a venue large enough to fit 15,000, 10,000 basketball fans.
Yeah, it's huge. So like that's comical. So the beer's delivered. You're hoping that it's labeled. Yeah, right. it's labeled floor beer, judging, and then there's like VIP beer.
In which I assume you've already sent out communication and email, very clear kits and packaged, hey guys, this is the P.O. box or this is where I want you to send it with this label, attention to such and such. Yeah? Am I right about that?
You've seen my emails.
I didn't think you'd be winging it.
No. So there's a lot, and but it's a lot of information. And as you know, sometimes you get someone's 3-second attention. So that if the email is not able to be read in 3 seconds, well, most of the time it's not. But
are you saying that brewery owners, small business owners are busy?
Is that what you're getting at? Is that what's going on? They're just like busy? Yeah.
Just busy guys, apparently. Guys and gals all over, just busy.
Well, and that's why we like Fobab, because at the end of the day, Fobab's a party for the brewers, because the brewers don't pour their own beer.
It's a very unique thing in this world, and anybody who's been a part of craft beer, even on the outside, just going to festivals, just next time you're at a festival, just watch.
Yeah.
Just watch. That's not Fobab. Watch the sales reps and your taproom people and stuff pouring that beer behind there. If you're lucky, maybe one of the owners, brewers, are there pouring the beer, talking to you about the beer. It's hard to get them sometimes. Yeah. And then watch Fobab. When you see
you're standing next to them.
If you
and you're
like
drinking
craft
their
beer and like some of the more decorated or popular brewers, they can be like baseball cards. Like
seriously,
that's your moment. That's like your Comic-Con to like meet the guys who put it.
You
want to
meet Tommy Arthur,
the girls
the
that
Lost
put it
Abbey,
in your glass, like Yeah.
You're like standing next to him and you're drinking their beer with them.
That is the person that made this. Whoa.
Yeah, right?
Pretty cool. He's just walking around. Though it is funny you watch them because is there like that 1 hour session before like the VIP? They're all down there and they're trying everything. And then like you see that 5 minutes until like general admission comes in. You see them all just scamper away to like the little private areas. Like, nope.
They do.
Nope.
They scatter like little mice.
Out, but it's hilarious.
Well, they kind of come and go. I mean, they're in the VIP area, so they're getting fed some yummy, delicious food and drinking food. Highlight. Hey, Firewater Barbecue. Yep. Was the food sponsor for them last year, Matt, and he brought in this brisket that and they're there again. So it was delicious and everybody seemed very happy. But it's crazy to think about, like if you look at Fobab, or even if you look online and you look at like the empty arena and then you look at Fobab, it's crazy to see how it kind of comes together and like the vision of it, and there's a lot that is put in like thought wise that you wouldn't even think of, just even as simple as like the flow and the beer, and to make sure that things, go well and that align, right? You're going to have you have an entry that's going to be one of those long lines. It's going to blow early, but it's going to be a crazy line. So you have to make sure that you have these tables set up so that the line doesn't run into anything else. Like it's really crazy things that you don't think you have to normally think of at a regular beer fest, right? Like something I don't have to think of necessarily at Bug or any of the other fests that I've done. Like this is different. You have to also make sure that you have a volunteer that's able to handle that, right?
Yeah.
Of doing the 2 pours at once, and
Well, people can get a little antsy, and then you get that rush at the beginning of like, I have to try this before it's gone. This is going to be the popular one, and it's like, can these volunteers can they handle? Are they over pouring? Are they under pouring? Are they pouring on time? Like, are they letting people build up and bunch up, and then it's not fun for anybody,
right?
But one of the big things that you love as a craft beer person about Fobab is that it's like there's so many selections, and everything, like you said, is barrel aged. Everything is like what the 1%ers are looking for, like these heavy high end craft beers. It's like even if like the one that you thought are sought after runs out, there's still another 100 that are like. The gap isn't as big as like a normal beer festival when you're like, shit, the 3 that I really wanted are gone because I got here late or something.
Right. Your favorite, like your little unicorn is out there. And that's what's crazy to me is that sometimes people don't step outside of that bubble until maybe like the award ceremony and they're like, oh, that beer got a medal. I should probably try it.
I love when people start scampering away from during the, like we're all watching like them get their awards and stuff. And then you hear one, you're like, fuck, I better go over that barley wine. Like,
and you see the volunteer going, oh God, it's me.
Here it comes. They're like, oh shit, is that my number? Is that my number?
Oh, I need help. I need help.
It's sold out. It's gone.
Yeah. Actually, the crazy thing is sometimes some of those medal winners were like,
you keep talking. I have to adjust on a light. You just keep talking.
Oh. is when they are like, oh my gosh, there's like a full keg and we have so much to go around, and then it's gone because it's a winner. He's doing Stretch Armstrong. It's kind of funny. Look, very impressive.
Totally forgot.
Look at that.
Didn't affect anything, but we're rolling. No big deal.
So it's really impressive when you start to see like a trend change, right? And people to get out of their comfort zone, or to get out of like the unknown, or try.
That's the place to do it, man.
It is. And then also the really fun is when a brewery that maybe wasn't really well known, or people didn't talk about, or they didn't have like the spotlight on them, and they go and they win, and it's so exciting. It's huge.
Big launch for them. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool little like rocket, for them. I got too close to it for a long time, where I was like too deep in craft beer,
Yeah.
So I forgot about all these like cool little things, and everything was focused on these big stouts, and whether it be pastry or long barrel aging, or but it was always these big stouts. Maybe barley wines have their day, but there are so many different things that
Tons.
are put on wood, basically to get into this contest. That there's mead there.
Yep.
Some of the greatest mead. Like, I didn't give a shit about mead, and then I was trying like misbehaving in these different places. I don't remember. Was Pips ever there? I don't remember. Pips
Pips has never been there. We'd love Pips to join.
I'm trying to think of who else.
Superstition.
It's Superstition.
Yep.
I think they had like was theirs Black Widow or something one year. It was crazy. Like I drank so much of that. I was like stepping away from the stouts for a long time.
And that stuff's diesel.
Oh, it's diesel.
Yeah, I mean,
jammy diesel though.
But high octane,
so
yeah.
Good. So
No,
good.
it's cool, and even a lot of people traditionally think Fobab, a dark stout, right? No, I mean we have the barrel aged lager category, and you
Just
have
wild.
it is, and you have pale beer, right? So you have the pale beer that's been aged, and I don't know, just kind of fun and different. And Fobab it's such a different animal. It is an animal that takes so much work and planning, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like childbirth. Like, you forget about it after. Like, you're like, oh, the trauma of like the planning of it when it's happening, and you're like,
never doing this shit again.
Yeah.
And then the next day you're just like
starting it. Yeah.
not the next day, but like a
Couple months later.
weeks
Yeah.
and it's like ooh, or it's like that inspiration as you're at something else, or you're at a different festival or another event you're planning. And you're like, oh, we could use that at Fobab next year.
It's
and
the
then
biggest
all
form
a
of
sudden
flattery.
you get
So
excited again.
to any other people that do Festify, take one of your ideas. It's a compliment. But yeah, I mean, I love going to other fests that do it right. That whether it's for the patrons, or it's for the brewers, or it's just the ambiance, or it's something cool or different. We're always trying to be different and creative, and bringing Fobab to the next level, but still keeping the integrity of it, which can be difficult, but it's the goal of it.
In that vein of talking about stealing ideas, or people that are doing it right, in that kind of vein of taking care of the brewers too, and like the people in the industry, so they have fun while they're there too. That's the volunteers. That's making sure that their beer is treated well. The Mike Palin at Microphone, like, he took that to heart. I think when he started doing, I think it was initially Pal Popper, but then which turned into It Smells Like a Beer Fest. That has been one of the most fun beer fests, and asked other brewers and people coming from out of state to come do that festival, because obviously Mike travels everywhere,
right,
like all over the country, and doing all these other guys' beer festivals. In turn, they come to his, and it makes it so cool for the consumer.
Yep.
But then it's also amazing for the brewers, because he will get all the brewers and the owners of those places to come and do the pouring and stuff, but he takes care of them big time. Like, big party the night before, he takes care of their hotel, like all these great things. Like, so that's stuff that I think that gets learned around the industry, and,
and that's why
success.
It's successful. It year over year, he gets cool brewers every year. And they come back, and the cool thing is that he's a fan of Fobab, and he's a good advocate, so he's always telling them about it.
I've seen him with a walkie-talkie a time or two during a Fobab.
Anybody's here with a walkie. Sometimes they didn't get to choose it. Where I'm like, guess what you get?
On stage duty.
Yeah, but I hear like more.
Make sure Brando
Morris
has
Fest
enough
does it.
arms to carry his medals off the stage.
Right.
That's a whole job.
Always someone's got to support him.
Amanda and Brando just taking home hardware every time.
Right, 2 more at GABF.
I totally totally. Yeah, I mean, it's literally every fest. It's so crazy that they're right here. We're so lucky to have them, and we're so lucky to live right here and be able to just go there whenever. Amanda and Brandon built the greatest thing that you could build in the craft beer world in this area. So
yeah, and they're good.
God bless it.
Good people.
Yeah, and just the best people.
Yeah.
The best staff, the best everything there. Workforce Brewing in Plainfield. If you've never heard of it, go there. But
visit you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, right. I totally sidetracked us while you basically I wanted you to kind of walk through that. We got as far as about like, hey, I got Mia on the merch and clean,
So then we have the floor, and then, you're setting up the tables, and there's judging going on. So judging is going on at the same time as we're trying to set up. So that can get a little crazy because we're trying to respect them. We also can't really hang up any signage because...
Also, fuck them. No.
we take the judging so seriously, so much so that it is pretty much me and a few other people that actually know all the beer that is entered. Just because the integrity of the fest is of the highest importance to us as far as the judging. And so the judging is going on. So we're not even hanging up all the signs. So we're really pushing. We're like, get the judging going. Yeah. And as they're done with certain categories and stuff, then we'll start hanging the signage.
Signs, go.
Right? It is.
Strong ales. Go.
Seriously, it is like that. So then once judging is done, we're able to get the majority of the signage up, and then start doing the VIP area as we're setting up the lager lounge, making that look like a dive bar. It is
so cool.
Oh my gosh,
chef's kiss, Wisconsin wood paneling.
You just can't go wrong.
Pull ticket,
you feel at home, and then you have. The NA area, the cool thing is that, Rev kind of takes care of their setup and Czar's on the whole lager launch, so don't really have to worry too much. Goose just knows what the hell they're doing, so they're out there seriously like boss, and then they're like, we're done. What have you guys been doing in here?
Yeah. We have graffiti on our train.
Yeah, right? Like, what the heck?
And we're fine.
Right? So. And then it's like the kind of the fun. So the interesting thing is we don't have the organization of the floor only for the beer. They also organize the beer in the back of the hallway. So it's staged. So mind you, it's 2 sessions. So if a beer blows, it's gone, right? However, we have to flip everything, and we try to make it a seamless process as possible because we are so tired by the end that we just want to get home.
Yeah.
Or back to the hotel before
you don't want to have
starting
that
it again.
Big break post this.
Yeah. We all try. We're like, we're going to go out. It's...
Well, I mean, just like, you don't want to be stuck there doing so much. Like, if you can prevent that, it's like, sure, man. Here, I'll leave it. You don't need to chug. It's there for you. I mean, it's a big boy. I just haven't seen it in a long time.
No.
So I bought it. I haven't seen Three Floyds permanent.
10.5. Oof.
Yeah.
So like, there's so many different things. And then you have all these volunteers, right? And these volunteers show up, and they are... they're helping in all different facets. So one thing I got to say is I have this freaking killer team, like Team Fobab. They're not just friends, they're like family. Like, they're amazing people. But then you have these awesome volunteers, and the volunteers, we have some of them that are here. They start on Thursday and they stay till the end.
That's awesome.
And it's amazing. So you have all the sessions and all the fun, and then you have all the cleanup. So imagine the fest ends at 5 on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Our goal is to always be done and clean up, because we all want to we're done. We want to go out. We want to decompress.
Want to eat. Whatever.
Right?
Whatever.
I don't even know.
Whatever it is.
And the time that we take it down is incredible. It's incredible how quickly it's done. It amazes me.
What's your time goal usually?
Oh, man.
What time you usually?
So we're out, our big thing is you're herding people out to get them out and saying thanks, have a fun time, now go find somewhere else to party.
Get a good ride.
It's 5 o'clock, right? Yep. Take a taxi, take an Uber, get somewhere. Ube. And our goal is always all right, if we can get this done, guys, in 3 hours or 4 hours, we can go out.
Yeah.
This is this can happen.
Some shit.
Right? So, it's usually our goal a couple hours, because then there's the keg pickup kind of thing on Sunday, and just a little here and there
quiet
stuff.
Shit there. Okay.
But I'm telling you, the amount of hours from Thursday to Sunday it's pretty insane.
Throw a number out there.
Oh, I would say
on your feet.
On your feet doing stuff is almost 18 hours, because it's 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, because I'm counting like you're up, you're getting ready, and then you're going. It's like 18-hour days.
For what, 3 days? 3
Thursday,
days?
Friday, Saturday. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty bonkers. And then like for me personally, like planning it, the hours just, in the last month or so, and then like heading up to it is just crazy because, I'm kind of a psycho and a perfectionist and just want to make sure that I have everything
You said it.
settled away.
That's
but
fair.
And everybody has questions, right? And I want to make sure that
everybody has
everybody
questions.
and that's okay. Questions are good.
Are they? That's good. Good for you. Like that's, I do think Charlotte made reference to like how shocked she is when she sees how calm you are throughout like, during the process.
I try.
Like how you don't bite anyone's head off. When
I
you
try not to.
Probably could.
I want everyone to come back, and
Well, that's a good.
I would
that's a
never
good point.
expect anybody to do something that I wouldn't do. That's just like my mentality always been. But I also feel like it's not going to accomplish anything if I'm going to like go off on somebody for something that I probably totally messed up,
If you want to.
Well, and that person was trying, right? They could have been doing worse. Like they could have just not been doing anything. But I try,
Generally, a good group of people hangs out in this world.
Yeah.
Very, very good. High percentages compared to other hobbies, fun thing, career paths. High percentage of good people, I think. Right?
Really,
I'm not wrong about that.
Well, and I think like all the people, they I'll help them out at different fests or events or things that they have. I just want be able to give back as much as I can too, and everyone's just super cool. I think everyone just. The fun thing is everyone has the same goal of making sure like it's as cool of a time as possible, as fun, as smooth. Let me tell you, there's some crazy things that happen during Fobab that nobody would ever know happen. And like that's important. We want to make sure.
What kind of things
oh man,
yeah.
you have
How much can you reveal?
Well, 1 year, years ago, this is at the forum. I'll tell this one. I was punched in the face.
I think I remember this. Was Alex working with you that point?
Yeah, it was a pretty rough year. It was a kind of a debacle, and there was the security got kicked and he went down, and I was like the next in line, essentially behind him. And there was a
drunk patron.
A drunk patron. He
Overserved patron.
Yeah, he was actually had been cut off, and it was kind of trying to find him, and we gave him like a break, and he didn't want to continue to take that break, and then so he was asked to leave because he just was getting pretty aggressive, and he found his way into a side door and kicked the security down. And I, when you see somebody kind of like being aggressive all I think of is like the safety of others, and so I jumped in front and to stop him, and I don't know how, but I did take him down
somehow.
I did take him down to the ground, and
punch in the face down to take him down.
No, I got him down first.
Oh, and then he hits you.
And my attention, because another person came to like really, they had seen what was going on, and when I put my arm up for a quick sec, he punched me in the face, which was not fun and not cool.
Oh, that's very uncool.
But not a lot of people would have known about that. And like the good thing, it was like out in the hall at the time where most people weren't. But yeah, so like that
wasn't in the newsletter for the next one.
No. God, this was like in 2016, 17.
Tough as nails.
Our legal counsel got me a pair of boxing gloves, which was kind of funny.
There you go.
Shout
out to legal.
Right? But you get like some little things here and there that happen, that in our mind is like, oh my God, we have to make sure that whatever it might be, like at a brewery, right? Or, when you're at Face to Rate and you're like, And
just
to
on
you
a
was
massive scale in a fucking wild city in a wild area, in a giant arena.
No big deal. But like little things. But the fun thing is like, talking about afterwards, being like, oh my God, how did we figure that out? Like, how did nobody know? Kind of crazy, but at the same time, fun.
So do you think that's probably like the craziest thing that's happened to you personally at a Fobab?
Getting punched.
Wildest time.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope that that's like the worst that'll happen to me.
Yeah, worst. Do you remember your first Fobab? When was your first?
My first Fobab was going,
yours, yeah.
So it was a Bridgeport Art Center. And I was only able to get one ticket. This was the time when like Bridgeport only like the whole capacity of the place I think was like maybe 800.
Okay.
And that's including brewers. So I don't even know how many tickets they would sell to the sessions, to be honest with you. Not a lot. And I remember like waiting on and getting brown paper ticket, 1 ticket. And I was like, well, I'm going to go, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what, like,
I don't know what I'm doing.
And I got on the train by myself and got in a cab that took me from the train to Bridgeport, and made my way through and like ran into some people that I had known because I was part of Midwest Brewers Fest. And so I knew some people from there and whatnot. And
what were you doing like at the time as a career, as like, what were you at in your life?
So I was helping volunteer for not-for-profit. Midwest Brewers Fest was in Plainfield, actually. I don't know if you remember it.
Nope.
It was gosh, what year was it? 2010?
Oh shit.
Maybe? No, I don't even, 9. Oh gosh, see, time isn't a thing anymore. No. And it was at the riverfront in the field, and it was so much fun. And but I had known Ken McMullen from that. And Ken was a judge at Fobab at the time. I believe he was a judge. And he had seen me. And so like Ken had me, like, was like my buddy and stayed with me. And then I got to go and enjoy the second session of Fobab, which I just remember the whole time thinking like, oh my gosh, like some of these beers. And what was the beer at the time? It was not all day IPA. It was
talking Lagunitas?
Was it Lagunitas or was it Founders?
Like CBS, like a
well, there was like there, and there was Utopia there. There was, it was one that like I remember you could like sometimes get locally, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, but it was barrel aged and it was different. And
like the blueberry one, the lizard one, like
maybe I don't even know what this. But I remember hanging with everyone, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to get a cab home, and I was like, cab's not gonna come get you out this way, which they were right. And so Ken McMullen and I walked to Maria's.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And there was a giant party at Maria's, a ton of people in the industry there. And then he and I ended up walking to the train together. But that was my first Fobab by myself.
Were you like, what were you doing for a living at the time? In 2010, like
I was in staffing, so I was in staffing sales for like out of college up until.
So you're just enjoying.
And then I volunteered
social stuff.
Volunteered at Beer Fest.
Yeah,
because they were fun.
You're in the craft beer world, ancillary kind of to it, but
because the next year at that Fobab, I was working the front.
Ah, shit! Boom,
right there,
just like that.
Right,
just like that. So you have an extensive experience with this festival specifically.
I have. I've seen it in 3 homes now. So, Bridgeport. UIC Forum.
Yeah.
After Bridgeport no longer was interested in hosting, I think that 2 years later was the elevator incident, and then now the UIC Arena, which we love more than the Forum because there's the outdoor aspect, right? And there's like something to be said, like if you go outside and you look out and you see the city, skyline, and it's just bigger, and you don't feel as, I don't know, tight, and there's no windows in the Forum.
I have great memories from the Forum. I have great memories.
That little hallway, that smelly hallway.
Yeah. I mean, no, I honestly, like, great memory. I loved it. I loved being able to go up top with the brewers and that, and look down on like, once you're kind of transitioning out of that VIP to the general admission, and you see the brewer scamper over there. And I was just lucky enough to know some people that were like, come with us, and I went up there and like took pictures from up there. It was like crazy. And that's something I think Fobab has done, I think, pretty well, is kept the vibe, like the lights and that kind of string light feel and that dark kind of feel to it, which it doesn't feel like you could easily conflate years of Fobab that you were at, not realizing, I was at the Forum that year, I was at the bigger facility, because they do keep that kind of ambiance and that feel to it pretty close,
Yeah, we try.
For having a giant fucking arena around you.
Well, think about the pressure, right? You have Bridgeport Art Center and everyone's like, yeah, you're leaving there. And it's like, well, sometimes you don't really have choices on things, right?
800 people.
Well,
you need to sell thousands.
Yeah. Well, and it's sometimes... it's not always fun when you only get a certain amount of tickets that are able to be sold and people can't experience it, and that's not really that fun. You're also then limited.
Beer people, as great as they are,
they have opinions.
We know how to bitch. We know how to bitch.
Well, you know what you
that
like.
Bottle, then I'm gonna get mad.
Right?
Yeah.
But then it also is not just like the amount of tickets, but you're capped on space, right? So you don't get to have the amount of brewers, and So it was really important at the forum to hold that ambiance. And then we felt that at UIC, the arena, when we had that opportunity, it was just going to be able to amplify that cool looking experience. And everything that I've heard is people
Great look.
love it, right? And it's fun, but we also want to keep that look, right? The string lights, and maybe some people think it's a little
you gotta,
kooky, but I love it.
It has to be what it is.
You know? We upgraded to the LED.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
That was a big step last year.
Yeah. They're fucking expensive. They had the budget. There's so many budget meetings to
right?
get new lights.
Everything's so damn expensive. I don't know.
Oh, shit.
I tell you.
The amount of and we're talking about like day of and that kind of lifting the lid on the whole thing. People start flowing. Like what was that like? Kind of watch. What is it like when you finally start letting people in? Like, do you get like a moment where you like? Like that's we were here at least.
Yeah.
Like, what's your like marker?
So it used to be
we didn't fuck this up.
Well, it used to be so at the forum we used to be able to stage people, right? And like we'd have this thing where Ben would have his stopwatch and be like, we did it in X amount of minutes, like under to get everybody in, because the goal is right. You have these long lines, so if you're ever seeing you get in early, right?
Yeah,
but
I'm privileged.
If you see this long line of people waiting, it's exciting. However, our goal is to get them in as quick as possible, right? It's not like the Dark Lord where you're bottle sharing and stuff. These people are in line and they want to get in and they want to be able to get some of those
They're
banger
already
beers.
having anxiety.
Right?
About, is this fucking banger going to be gone?
Well, because the beer list got released, so they're like, all right, we're going to hit all these.
They're
and so
diving in, they got a plan.
Right? So Rob, we'll get back to Rob. Like he is working with his volunteers who are always amazing people. Everyone, we have a whole like all hands on deck. They are checking IDs and wristbanding and doing the tickets. So the goal is as quick as we can get in people. I'll say once everybody's in, it's kind of that... But then really and truly, it's not until like the craziness and things die down a little bit because, you have 350 entries, right? And you have, let's say, 2 volunteers per entry pouring. And usually Friday night, it's more volunteers. Saturday's a little bit harder. So I'll talk on Saturdays. The stress is let's get through this like craziness so that once all those like beers run out and then we've settled down a little bit, you kind of have a breath. But personally, my like favorite moment that always gives me chills, and it's because it's a bag, but Gavin, this gentleman named Gavin comes in and does the bagpipe for us. And he's been doing it for years. So I don't know if you recall, but before the second session on Saturday, he walks through with all the people and he does the bagpipe. And like that kind of gets it all excited and gets the chills going.
Well, there's 3 sessions. Is this
Used
the
to be
first time
3.
doing 2? Or
No.
Yeah, last year?
So we stopped doing 3 sessions, bless you, prior to COVID. So in 2019 was the last 3rd session. 3 sessions was just a little bit harder, and you have just a lot of leftover, and it's kind of like
hard.
Have you ever been to GABF? It's kind of like that 4th session at GABF where you're like, oh my God,
Jesus.
You're so tired. And you just like decide that maybe you don't like people anymore.
What are we doing here, guys?
Yeah. Everybody questions their lives. You get everybody giving like the looks like.
I could have been a fucking pharmacist. What am I doing?
Right? Like, I'm not doing this next year. You get like the people and I'm like, don't say that.
Can't quit you.
It's been 2 sessions since the arena, which I think it works out great. And then everybody, look at, they go from 12 to 5. They have a party at USC and then they can go downtown, find a great place to get some dinner and get their party on still, take the train home, take a cab home, whatever. But I think it just works way better at being 2. And like for my own, 42, my body's like, excuse me.
Let's shut this shit down.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Your ankles
guys.
are going to be swollen.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I'm eating barbecue all day.
Right?
Yeah. You're drinking High Life.
Just need a salad and a water.
I'm telling you. Do you have any recollections? Like, we talked a little bit briefly about like what it can mean sometimes for a brewery to take home one of the medals or something. Do you have like a favorite moment? Like, I know you have friends all over the industry, locally, blah blah blah. But like, do you remember like somebody walking up on the stage where you're just like almost like in tears, like, looking at them? Like,
honestly, oh man. So anytime, like selfishly, anytime a local brewery, I get like all the feels. I get like all the feels, and like especially like a brand known Amanda, because I'm like, because Plainfield, like we're right here. But I will say really cool last year was Tanya from 10 Barrel, RIP 10 Barrel. But She is amazing. She's an amazing brewer. She's usually a judge. She's not able to make it in this year. But last year, having consecutive medals and her winning was pretty awesome. Like that was a cool moment. But I get all the feels when it's like Illinois brewers, like to the point where, first of all, whether they like it or not, I'm going to give them a hug. Yeah. Sorry, everyone.
I love it. I love when they're like,
oh, yeah. Like Katie. But they know me,
there's
too.
some awkwards in the...
Oh, 100%. But they know they're like, Katie is going to totally encroach on my space.
Brewers don't like to be touched or made a fuss over.
No. Yeah. And it's not like a little, like, I don't do the awkward hug. Like, I go in for, like, the full-on, like, mom bear hug. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think most of them know, like, it's going to happen. Like, you even get the person, like, does, like, oh, shoot, she's coming in.
Fudge.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's fine. I'm not, it won't deter me.
You're
I'm still going
to apologize for who you are.
No, I'm not. Right. Gumdrop Island is my land.
I dig it.
But I get all the warm and fuzzies when it's local. That's for sure. And it's really kind of fun when it's like someone on stage, whether it's like a board member giving medals or like the one year where it was Marty doing the awards. Yeah. And I was like, look at that next slide. Yeah. Revolution just won.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Deep Woods going hard.
Right.
You know about those? Yeah, Marty knows about them.
Yeah, right. He knows a thing or two or tree. No, but it's actually just really exciting. Or when like they're really excited, like almost on the border of tears and stuff. Because I think, this is an important award for people. And I think it does give them like notoriety, or it tells people like, this shit is good. You need to get there.
This shit is real good. Like I remember Black Horizon winning one when I was there once, and I just Kevin, Charles, Alex, the whole group over there. I just really like those guys. Really,
they won a couple times.
Yeah, well, not since, but I'm just talking about the
the first.
I think it was his first one. I think I have a picture of me and Kevin like in the middle of the floor at the forum, like holding up the little sign and all that. There was a year where I think Workforce got like gold and bronze, and Brickstone got silver or something in fruit beer category. And just I have pictures and video, I think, of Brando and Alex just like holding each other on stage. Yeah. Alex was at Brickstone at the time. It was just like these were huge like core memory situation there. Like just because it's like feelings.
It's real feelings too. Like it's not just like, oh, we won an award. Like it is like, oh my gosh.
They were pumped.
Yeah.
Like, so proud of themselves, proud of the people, the group that does, all the other things too. Yeah. It's very, very fun to watch.
Yeah.
And then like you said, just give them, it motivates some people to kind of like, all right, maybe it wasn't on my radar, maybe it was, and now it's pushing me over the edge to like make a trip there, whatever it is. Not everybody's John Bitterman. I mean, you can't go to
He's the champion of going everywhere.
A year. God damn it. How important is that guy to the suburban beer scene?
I tell him, I'm like, you're like our pseudo representative. You're going to other places. Like he's
showing
such a
up at guild
spokesperson.
Meetings.
Oh, he is volunteering. He volunteers at Fobab. He's usually working merch one time. The poor guy too, and like his session where he gets to enjoy. I think he hides from me. Love you, John, because he's like. Because I'm like, John, he's like, you need my help, don't you? I'm like, for just an hour, John, I need you to pour.
He's got to be feeling better than he does at Jewel every day.
Well, and
I love watching his posts on Jewel.
Hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. He's almost done.
Yeah, that's right. Get his ass out of there. John. The world needs to save John Bitterman from himself.
So what we're doing this year that's kind of different and fun? Well, we got a couple new things, but
let's hear about
speaking of judging and awards, kind of just, I'm always like trying to think of like different things that we could do that's cool and engaging and whatnot, whatever, right? You got to evolve. Yeah. And one idea that came up was this fan favorite award, right? So you have these professional people that are judging the beers and they're finding their medals, gold, bronze, silver and bronze and best in show and runner up. But what about what the fans like? Because I think that, people who aren't trained judges and everybody, right, has a different taste and whatnot. And so this year we're going to have a fan favorite award. And so as you're trying your beer, you're going to be able to essentially enter your favorite beer that you tried, where you think is the best.
So we're talking like QR code situation?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a handle or a, you know what? I should know it because I think we had a couple different
Everybody
ideas
just
going.
lost so much
right?
faith in you.
Oh,
Like,
I
how does
know.
Fobab even work?
I'm gonna, like call you tonight and be like, Joe, I need you to like
We're gonna do some editing.
do some editing, make it my voice.
She nailed it.
Yeah, right.
She didn't miss a beat.
The instructions essentially we'll have there and volunteers will walk people through, but really excited to announce what the fans like. And I think that's just, it's new and different and fun. And the other thing that we have, two things, is that I don't know about you, but when I go to like Great America or any of those places, even beer fests, I don't wait in line. I hate lines.
Fast pass.
Skip ahead pass, man. I am like their favorite customer at Great America because they're like,
God.
give us your wallet and we'll give you the skip ahead. And I'm like, here, can I give you my firstborn?
I don't care.
Give it, whatever. I'm not waiting in line.
I'm gonna get on this ride. I
Right.
gotta get on this ride.
I don't care if the fast pass was more than the ticket into the damn place. So
God damn
one
it.
of the things we're
They love
doing,
you. They
right?
love you
I
there.
am their person. I am their flower child for this thing that they do. So we were like, okay, let's think of a fast pass idea. So
how do we do this without pissing everyone off?
right. So you can't give it to everyone, right? Because that would just be. So you can buy a raffle ticket this year. So we have
Oh.
the ability where you can pay a $5, buy a raffle ticket, and there's 2 different raffles that you can win. And there's a handful for Friday and a handful for Saturday.
Okay.
And so one of them is you
So
can win
if you bought a ticket, you can enter
buy
this
raffle.
raffle.
You can buy 100 raffle tickets if you want.
But this isn't for people who didn't buy a ticket, right?
This is only for
all
people. Well, because if you didn't buy a
in-house.
ticket, I
This is
mean,
in-house like happened. This isn't like pre.
no, this is like pre. So like
Okay.
if you, Joe
But you gotta
Bobby,
buy a ticket first.
you went on
Right.
Universe and you bought a Fobab ticket. Because if you didn't buy a Fobab ticket, you can wear that little and you won a raffle prize. You're going to be standing outside with your skip ahead. I don't know what line you're going to be skipping ahead. But so you're going to get this skip ahead pass. So you buy a raffle ticket and some lucky people will win the skip ahead. You're going to get a nice little badge and they're going to get to skip to the front of a line, right? Now there's some rules. You can't just be that not so cool person that's just going and having a whale of a beer and then getting back and doing it again. You got to kind of like
Spread your shit out.
give it a minute, right?
Be cool about it.
Right.
Be cool about it.
Just be nice.
So this is literally to get to the beer line, like to get
This
to
is
the
to skip
person
ahead.
pouring your beer.
This is a skip ahead the line. So
Holy
like,
shit, this isn't like to get in, you get to skip to the front of the line.
well, no,
to get
that'll
into the-
include it. So
Okay.
like, you don't have to wait. That'll include your skip ahead. You
Okay.
also don't have to wait in that long, really, really long line, right? You can come right up and
Can't
go,
wait till that person gets booed. They're just
right.
gonna get verbally
dude,
booed
should
so
totally
hard.
get cheered like you are the winner of
Yeah.
the universe. And then the other raffle is the even bigger one is that you win a VIP experience. So you essentially get a brewer sponsor badge.
Oh yes,
And a
I
skip
think I
ahead.
saw that on the website.
Yeah.
Actually, there was something about. So
you could drink Highlight.
Five winners or
Yeah,
something
like
for
there's
that
certain
one,
amount.
for the
And so
VIP?
for each of them, obviously, it's not like Katie's first Fobab where you go by yourself. Most people go with a friend, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Or a significant other. So you're not going solo.
You get a tag
So
along.
think about this. You win. Think about how many best friends you're going to make in like
I'm telling you.
a few minutes, right?
What if you did roll solo and you won it?
Dude.
You freaking have your pick.
I mean, you could just like walk
pick.
outside in that long line and go, "Who wants to be my best friend?
seriously.
Who's buying me dinner tonight?"
Right.
So 2 kind of different and cool things assigned and the fan favorite. But yeah.
The fan favorite, I imagine the fan favorite will get announced with the awards.
Yeah.
With the rest of the awards.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's going to be a lot of brewers there with their ears wide open. Well, what the fuck do people want?
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like I put coconut in already. What else can I do?
Seriously.
There's already toasted coconut, guys. What else can we do? Like,
What else do you want? I mean,
talk about market research.
you're talking to me. It's chocolate and vanilla.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm with you. I love me some chocolate vanilla.
Yeah.
Now they got me on coconut. I'm totally bought and sold on coconut.
It's good. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a brothership staple. They the boys know how to do it, and it's
They know the way to your
oh,
heart.
it does it so good for me. And it's not just them. I mean, there's plenty of them doing it like that. You know who does vanilla and chocolate really well together? Vanilla and
Please.
just stout is Workforce.
Yeah.
The Sleepy Bear when they do like the Eclair one, when they do the straight vanilla ones, just so good.
Right?
They're not overly thick. They're they just hit right for me. They always get the booze element right.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of times when you go overboard with these adjuncts and it's like kind of missing the barrel.
Yeah.
Maybe it's there. It's just a little undertone of it, but I love the balance that they get on their vanilla stuff over at Workforce. Those are the guys over
I'd
there.
agree.
Okay, so I had a thought and a question for you.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, just having been lucky enough. I know we have been a little bit inside baseball when it comes to craft beer. You know, we're talking like behind the scenes. But one of the things that you come across with festivals, with things like that, it's like it can be a pain in the ass for brewers for some of these festivals, for not brewers, for the brewery itself, you know, but Fobab has such a mystique about it. It's like, they all want to be a part of it. Nobody's turning down Fobab. You know what I'm saying? But like, can you go over like a little bit of what's required of them? It's like, what volume of beer, you know, is everybody required to like, how are we running out? Like, are we, you know, because a lot of festivals will be like, I need at least a 6-barrel.
Right.
And some festivals will pay you for it. Some won't. I don't think Fobab pays for it, right?
We're not for profit,
right.
so it is a fundraiser for us.
This thing isn't possible without that.
No, I don't know, unless, you know.
Wouldn't be the epic event that it is.
No. So, you know, we've had a lot of people just say, hey, can we just send in to get judged and be part of that? And the answer is no. So you have to send in your beer, the amount to get judged. So we require a certain amount for you to be able to get judged. And then you have to have a 6-still per session to be...
6-still per session.
So it can be on the floor. So imagine if I was to take ABC beer, right? Like, let's say Workforce enters and they just wanted to send to get judged and they win. And then I have no beer on the floor for everybody to try,
fucking
right?
Nuts.
Like, I would get murdered. It'd be done.
Yeah.
It'd be
They'd burn that place to the ground.
It'd be done. Like, what? They won and I don't get to try. So you need to send for judging and for the floor, unfortunately. And it stinks because there's been some breweries that really want to be part of it and like, oh my God, we have this beer, it's so good, but we don't have enough. If it's close to being enough, we can make it happen.
It's so hard for them to be like, I can't just give you
it's a lot,
a $400,
right?
You know, whatever it is.
It's a ton, right? So that's also why we keep the integrity of this competition to the highest standards, is to make sure that they know that, one, we're treating their product as respectful as possible. Like, we know that this is their blood, sweat, and tears. We know some of it, you know, may never ever be seen again. And so obviously anything left, we let them know, and we want them to be able to salvage and you know, if
you want to come pick it up,
please, by all means, take it off of our hands. But you know, there is a requirement, and once a keg, or if they send the equivalent in cans or bottles, goes, that's it for that session. And you'd be surprised the amount of people that buy both sessions. I don't know how these people do it.
It's fucking nuts.
They are champions. Like, they are my spirit animals. I can't. Like,
it's so overwhelming.
Ask me on Saturday of Fobab and be like, Katie, how many beers on the floor have you had? And
one,
if that, because
water,
it's hard. Yeah,
twisted tea,
High Life.
I put it on a plank of wood first and then drink it. It's Fobab official.
Count champagne velvet. Sometimes we have some champagne velvet. That's, you know, some good
Pink
stuff.
Whitney's. No.
But it's really rare that I have like the time to go on the floor. I wish I could, but so when these people go to both sessions, I'm like, oh my God, like, good for you. Like, how's your liver feeling
wild.
Sunday? It's crazy.
It's wild watching some of the. I mean, the people watching at Fobab is legit.
Oh, it's pretty
Even
awesome.
At the old, you know, at the big or the forum, I just remember like trying to have a plan. Like, I go in there and like I get, you know, whether the beer list is out or I try to live a little by the seat of the pants. I don't like to be overly prepared. But if they give me a list, I'd like to know what's there.
Sure.
I will make a concerted effort to find it if I need to. But I will not like have an itinerary and try to follow it to a T. I will, if I get distracted, the ball rolls in front of me.
I mean, if there's a shiny,
I'm going to it. Like, just trust that that's happening.
I'm right behind you.
But I mean, watching, I just remember navigating what I wanted. There was a year, like I think it was like the first year phase 3 was in business, and I wasn't working for them at the time, but they were friends of mine and they came for more, and it was the first time they were entering something. They had only been around for like months. I think they only had like 5 months in a barrel or something on their first entry. And I just remember waiting in front of their booth at the ding of the bell, and getting that beer. And then from there it was like, okay, now I need to go hit Maplewood. I know Maplewood's got this cup of thing, and then I got to go hit. And there was a barley wine from Bottle Logic or something, Rituals or something that it won a best in show or something that year.
Yeah.
And then I remember like, okay, at this time I need to, whether it's find food or I need to go into the sour room. I need to go breathe in the sour room for a minute. Like you're going on, there's transient and all these, these.
Yeah.
There's these high end lambics and sours and farmhouse, just banana shit all over the place. And it's just budgeting your time. But like 2 hours in, I'm like, I can't do anything else. Like I gotta stop.
Right.
And then you end up in that like Goose Island area. It used to be that little hut that they would put
in the corner. Yeah.
And it's like all this shit's about to hit. Black Friday's coming, and all these new flavors of Bourbon County's coming out. It's like, say what you want about Goose Island, they're still still knocking that beer.
They
out
know
of
what
the
they're
park.
doing. Yeah.
Sure, it's still.
You want to talk about a vanilla rye?
Damn, does it still taste good?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have like the quantities, they have to make, but
yeah, whatever. There's a shit ton of it. I get it, but man, it's still fucking good.
They know what they're doing.
I was there the one year when I think that 17 maybe, the banana one was like cinnamon banana. It was so good. And I think Eric Flores was like working the little, and we were just
because that was his prep year, I think.
Refill. It was just like, oh my god, insane.
It'll do you in.
I don't know where I was going with that. I
actually have a question for you.
Tangent.
What's your plan for Saturday of Fobab?
I don't know.
What are you going to do?
I am very blessed to have a beautiful wife that enjoys the shit out of stouts and meads and big beers. She loves IPAs and hazy stuff. She does not like lagers, which is odd. Like I figured that'd be a good start for her, but she started on sours.
Bypassed it.
She got into IPA a little bit, and then barrel aged stouts work for her on all levels always.
Okay.
So we're going to have a good time, but she's very tiny and very conservative when she drinks out in public. So she will only have little bits. She'll be grabbing me like, you sure you need another one of those? Like, but honey, it got marshmallows and I have another one. Like that will be me. But I am, you met Thor while you were here, my beautiful chocolate lab. I am very much like him in that situation. And I've been out of the festival scene for a number of years now. I mean, really almost since COVID, but really since leaving phase 3. So it's like I will probably spend most of my time hunting down people that I knew or know, that I haven't seen in a while. I will be bugging the likes of,
You'll be in the Lager Lounge. Let's be real. Or
I'll be
you
looking
might
for Roger at Maplewood because I haven't seen him. I want to know what all his kids are doing now. I'm gonna find Jude. I'm gonna be hanging out with Evan Morris and Sean Burns and looking for Brittany and that whole crew. Like, yeah, I'll be like so ADHD like that.
Fan kid running around.
I won't even. I'll realize I didn't drink. Like maybe hours. I didn't even drink. Or I'll find Charlotte and like give me some of that Solemn Oath Lager, whatever.
Put me in the Lager Lounge and find me a corner, or we'll just find you in the VIP area with your High Life.
Just know there's gonna be a lot of hugging. There's gonna be a lot of hugging and a lot of man hugs. I can see that coming right now. That's probably what my day's gonna look like, and I will definitely look for my big beers and some fan favorites and stuff like that.
I mean, if you do arrive at 11 and you're early, know that I'll put you to work. You might have a radio on for an hour.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I end up early. I'm sure we'll be ready to help. I mean, I'm sure it won't be a big deal for us. We'll be ready to help. Any hours without children at your feet is
right.
It's like this is not work. This is fun. This is entertainment. This is social.
Our children are not here. You have no idea. This is a blessing to put us to work right now.
So there is one specific topic that it's a broad topic we can apply to this this conversation. Every podcast so far, I believe every out of the 7 that have already been published, every podcast there's always a during COVID ... So let's apply that to Fobab, because Fobab, I remember this.
Oh my God.
I remember boxing up 48 bottles of Sean's very special version of Unoya at phase 3 and sending it, and I remember people ordering bags and just like, God damn it, I like it was like collecting Pokemon cards. Like they only made 24 bottles of this, and I got one in my fucking Fobab sack. So remind me what that was. How?
Oh my God.
Because obviously,
you know why I know it really,
pandemic.
really well? Because I was pregnant.
Oh yeah, Jesus
Prego.
Christ, you certainly were. God damn it.
Oh my God. It was like every patron was like, this is the coolest thing. And I was like, this is my nightmare.
Well, let's time out real quick. So
Yeah.
let's just think about this. If you're a craft beer person, if you don't even drink, if you don't like beer and you're just listening to this because you like to hear people have long conversations, just think about that. Think about this as a excessively social, in-person, loving, hugging, holding, close quarters event, right?
Yes.
That's driven by alcohol and close talking and spit and like
way too close talking.
And then imagine a global pandemic hits and you're not supposed to be in rooms with people. There's 6 foot. There's masks. There's all this stuff. Imagine. So what's the first meeting at the Brewers Guild when you're like, what are we doing this year?
Dude, it was weird. It was. Well, remember,
Firing up your Zoom.
You had your pandemic. So the crazy thing is, when that adult, I was at Skeleton Key. That was when we were living in Downers Grove, and we were at Skeleton Key, and it was like coming
Shout
down the
out
line.
Emily,
yeah,
Paul,
hey.
Jason.
I think I was drinking I was drinking a Friends Don't Lie, I think, and it was kind of one of
They're
those.
so cool. They're so good. They're such good people.
Right? I miss my Skeleton Key back when we were in Downs Grove. It was like Skeleton Key and Alter and Baca Rise and like
Stupid
in that
tornadoes just
right. Hey, they came back.
Sure did.
The Phoenix, but so COVID. You have so we're gonna have beer under glass, right? You're gonna have May event, and then that's gone. So it's obviously there's nothing there. Everybody's shut down, and it's everyone trying to figure out like how to still get your beer out, right? And to be nimble. And you were with Phase 3 still at the time, weren't you?
I was with Crafted until 20, like in 20, and then the summer of 2020, I went to Phase 3.
Okay, so but you had like that in between of like figuring out how to get people.
Well, shit was popping. People were just at home. They were getting fucked
right.
up.
It was
People were out
crazy.
there like, I'll buy all the beer.
What was that app, House Party or whatever?
Yeah,
Where you just call people and you're like
random. Me,
for
Steve
hours.
Miller, Shotgun and Natter Days, and
my
Josh,
gosh,
and Maddie, our whole gang. Just
and it's kind of funny. Like I was like, one thing it did do is like you talked to people more than you ever would have, and you had like
a lot
these
of
like
face-to-face conversations,
Zoom
via phone.
parties, right?
Yeah.
So, God, I don't even think we had a meeting for a while. I don't even think we had any quarterly meetings. And so we had this meeting. We're like, what are we going to do about Fobab, right? And so it was this idea. Oh, there's some more of your octane.
Sorry, I'm feeding you gas because
right.
I didn't have enough beer in the house.
No. So the idea was like this Fobab to go, which was really, really cool. But imagine having all these bottles of all these entries, and then you got to make these little bags. And like a Mr. Josh Crane was it? Were you there? Because
no, I never did any of that.
You didn't come in.
I was busy. With Phase 3.
Oh, because you were at Phase 3 at the time. So they came in
we were
and
making our own fucking bags over there,
dude. Making these bags and like again, it was like all blind draw. So we were like trying to just make the best that we could do, and then you had people pick up, but. All these beers are there, and so we had to do the judging too.
Remind me how it worked. Like how did you buy? You went online.
So you bought like a ticket.
Purchased a ticket.
Essentially, your ticket was a bag of.
And then how did the pickups work and all that?
You had to come to Hailstorm.
That's
so
what it was.
The judging was at a Hailstorm. So imagine these judges with these face masks, and then also like the eye masks, because we wanted to protect them. But then
I can taste it.
6-foot tables and like
ASMR.
So far apart, and doing the temperature on everyone.
Yeah. Just bing.
Oh yeah, I mean it was like full on. Like we were, making sure we were following all these rules.
We had logs. We had.
Oh my God.
Everything.
But this was like for a special kind of thing, and oh my God. So the judging gets done. Well, the judging had to happen, and then that how judging works is kind of different than like how we had categorized the bottles, because we needed to make sure that you wouldn't get a bottle from like each category or the same category, right?
Okay.
You're trying to mix it up.
Okay.
So it was a freaking mess. So I remember like the guys in Crafted too, we were like, you get it all messed up, and then you have to like reorganize it. And then we have to make these bags, and then you had people picking them up. And I just remember it was just like the most exhausting thing. And like on paper, it looks really cool. And I was like, yeah, you should do that again. I'm like,
Oh, people loved it.
you have no idea.
Especially people who got
The amount of work.
bottles.
Right. There was, oh my gosh.
There were some bangers in there.
And especially like the people that would mule, like take people's bags.
Holy shit.
I'm sure they were doing
switcheroo
a little sloppy, little slippy. Yeah. So that was pretty crazy. And because I think in July that year we did Christmas in July. So we did the mixed. Do you probably remember that for phase 3 of sending? And so we're at Revolution making 24 packs and one of each can. That was even worse than Fobab to go.
That's wild.
Dude,
That's
COVID.
So wild.
I lost years of my life.
Engineering that people went like
Dude, you had to be so creative, right?
Our own brewery, like it was just like whoa.
What I will say though,
we weren't,
like think about like some of the cool things. Like I think about like Skeleton Key and like how Emily was so innovative and like would do these like crazy kits that you could get and stuff. But like, I don't want to relive that again. No, ever.
It was so stressful, and it was just like
we're lonely in a weird way.
We're like researching with our, a shout out to Kyle Damon. Kyle Damon knows our packaging. Our he was the guy. You're in the back of phase 3 at any given point on a weekday. Kyle's back there. Hosing something down. He's fucking packaging something. He's running the whole show back there, making sure that giant cooler's rotated properly and shit's getting, and Kyle watching the meetings that we would have every week and talking about the kind of adhesive it takes to close a 12-pack of beer in a cardboard cut and what gauge cardboard you're using and what a graphic on it and is it variety, dude, and just like what you were saying about multiple SKUs in one package, like even doing like what Rev does every day,
dude.
3, four different SKUs and 3 of each in a 12-pack is fucking nuts.
It's crazy.
Luckily, Kyle came from Rev, so he
like knew.
He had a little experience, but it's like just to have a conversation about this adhesive or this is how it closes, and we eventually did it. We eventually did like Christmas pixel packs and like different things at phase 3, but it is such a grind to get there. Well,
we would get because for Christmas in July it was different breweries, right? And so you had people sending 12-ounce cans, 16-ounce cans, the little 375 bottles.
Figure it out.
It was like so janky, and I'm telling you, like, and having just a few people like volunteering, because that was the other thing. Like people were still like, man, I'm not really sure I want to volunteer, and I don't care for wearing masks and we're 6 feet apart. Like, I'm just not feeling it. So it'd be like 6 people doing the job of like what probably should be 50. I mean. I don't know.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. So yeah, Fobab was crazy for like those couple things, but yeah, our COVID was crazy for those couple things, and Fobab in particular. I mean, I know that to go, everybody was like, yeah, and we tried it. So we still did Fobab to go the following year.
Yeah.
When we did do Fobab in person, but there were still people like reluctant, and so we were still allowed to do Fobab to go. So imagine having.
How'd you scale that back,
dude? Well.
Was it the same? Was it the same volume?
It was kind of the same. It was really and truly it was.
Same volume and everything, huh?
There were people that came and like, but we still, you had to wear masks and stuff, but it was weird in that you'd have to take your, mask off to drink and stuff. So I know it was like an uncomfortable thing. So we wanted to offer Fobab to go if people didn't feel comfortable, and imagine having all that set up.
We were there, I think. Was it?
That was at the arena.
Yeah.
That was the first year at the arena.
Yeah, that would have been the year that we had the lounge up there. Yeah.
So we're all setting all that up. Imagine that. We're also having to make these, I think were they 4-packs or 6-packs? I don't even remember anymore, at the same time. So we're setting up a fest and doing to go. Like, legit, almost lost more years of my life from that than.
It's hurting my head right now.
Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah. And so everybody was like, that's great, bring it back. And I'm like, you be quiet.
No.
Yeah, your opinion is not needed.
Yeah, you bring your ass out here and socialize, you son of a bitch.
You get here and you drink this beer on the floor.
Introverted ass. Get your ass out here.
Yeah, you had years of being an introvert with COVID. Get it over.
You can shut up in the corner and drink your stout, too.
Yeah, you can go outside and drink it by the fire.
Get a cute little glass, too.
Yeah.
Would you get anything different like about visuals and stuff this year? I mean, anything like that obviously you talked about the 2 new things that you like.
Visual
like different glassware, different
always different glassware. So I always change it up, which I think the glassware companies hate me because I'm like, don't like it. Did it like 10 years ago. They're like, Stop it. You're killing us.
I don't know when or how you do this, but like we have to find a way to make a collab glass with John Bitterman. Like,
yeah,
he's got every glass in the world, but nobody's ever been like, let's do a collab John Bitterman.
We
glass.
would almost need like, and the reason I say a Das boot is because it'd be the only thing big enough, like a big boot, you know, like one like you drink up in like Wisconsin at the Great Taste, you know, that at that one bar. So like a giant Das boot and have every brewery in the state of Illinois' logo on it.
That'd be amazing. How would you do it?
But we'd only have to make one.
We gotta
so John could have it.
We gotta figure something out for him because I don't think people understand the value that he has and just the person that he is. Like this is a guy who owns every fucking glass. Ever. I don't know that.
And
Illinois
if he didn't have it, he finds it.
He would cut you. He would cut like
no, but he like finds it. He's like, oh, I don't have that glass, and he goes and like will find it.
I try to let him know, like, because I have a lot of glasses, so I try to send stuff. If I feel like I'm gonna throw anything out, do anything, I send him pictures just in case. And then he lives so close, I can just drop it off on his porch, which is great. But holy shit, that dude! Like, I can't believe nobody's ever been like, let's make a John Bitterman beer or a John Bitterman glass. I mean, I would love to sit down and be like, John, what is your ideal glass? Like, I want to know what shape, what's the curvature, what's the weight, what's the feel.
I feel like you need John on here.
Oh, so John's been on. John's been on.
Oh, yeah?
He was on the beer version of it. But yeah, he could definitely do an episode of this even. But just based on a collection of anything like that is interesting to me. It doesn't matter if it's beer glasses
or even
craft
like
beer.
What kind of glass does he have the most of?
Yeah, I mean,
what's
the whole thing.
What's the glass that the brewery's like?
Do you have an elusive shape that you've not been finding? You only have one or two of, or like.
I mean, there is for me. I often am like,
tell me more.
Bring that one back.
Tell
like,
me more.
I'm really weird about it. So, I think I brought it back a couple years ago, but one year at the Forum we had it, and it was like a coffee mug, but it was kind of big. You probably remember it, but it was bigger. But they made this coffee mug in a 5 ounce. So imagine a little clear coffee mug, but it's a 5 ounce. So it's a taster. And it was
Mike
so
did one
cute.
for Smells Like a Beer Fest. It's like,
but it was a baby?
Like, it's a 5 ounce. It's like, it's got the base, and then it's like gets a little bit bigger, and it's got a little tiny glass handle.
Oh, so this was just
it's got the little bean, the bean baby.
Yeah.
Like the Nirvana.
No, but this was just straight up and down. This was like a coffee mug with a little
handle.
Yeah. And I could not source.
I don't have that one,
anywhere.
so I was not at that Fobab.
No,
I keep all mine.
Oh no, this was a big one. I'm saying this is like my elusive glass. Like it's a baby one, and I can't find anywhere that would source a big enough one. I'm always looking for like a really weird glass, and it's funny because these glass companies, they're like, "Oh, try this one." I'm like, "No, everybody else, so and so did that one." Like the glasses, I don't know why, but bless you, I make it like a big thing. I don't know why.
I love glassware. I mean, I really do.
This year's is cool. We haven't done it. Actually, this year's glass was a glass that I wanted, and I think it was 18 or 19, but we were sent the wrong glass. Oh my, are you allergic to me? Is it me?
No, never that. Maybe it's the 11% IPAs.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's probably what it is.
Something in it.
Sorry, permanent funeral.
But this glass was one I wanted years ago, but they ended up sending like the wrong glass.
Okay. Tell me more.
Which I was not very happy about. But this year, I got the glass. And so, anyway, it's nothing crazy.
What's the glass? What's like the style?
It's like it's actually kind of like it's a stemless. It looks like almost like a stemless wine glass, but it's a 5 ounce.
Does it say that? Do you know like the name of it or anything? I want to look at it.
No, I don't even know what it's called. No, I know it's stemless.
I have a nice like very basic stemless small glass from it's Corn Maze. It's from the
420
450
or 450
420 out there. Pothead, Jesus Christ,
450.
That's where you went. No, but it's a glass I like. But I think my favorite festival glass I've ever gotten was we went to Wakefest.
Ooh,
and
nice.
Wakefest VIP had. Are you familiar with like the Glencairn? Like a nice bourbon-sized Glencairn with the Wakefest VIP and like the gold print.
Beautiful.
It's a wonder.
It's not a cheap glass, and that's
why
we
did not get VIP. But you know how festivals are. Festivals start to shut down, and they start to get a little wonky at the end sometimes. And we were
a little loose with their stuff.
Yeah, I was there with the Crafted Boys. We took a trip down there with Denver and Brian and a few of us, and we were patrolling the outskirts. There was a VIP tent, and nobody was manning it anymore. So you go in there, and we found a couple of them, and I was like so careful because that was like the first second day we were there, and I was like so careful, brought it home and washed it and like kept it wrapped in socks in my suitcase. I was like, if this fucking thing breaks, I'm gonna be so pissed. Like, I don't know why I cared that much, but it was like,
well, because one, it was
and
a
I still
find.
have it, and I loved the glass. I love the glass.
So it's a beautiful glass, an expensive glass. Is one that's like on my radar. Like, oh, if you get any, here I'm ordering like 6,000 glasses, right? And that adds up. And so, it's on my wish list. But let me tell you, like, there's something to be said when a festival has a cool glass, right? Or like,
100%.
It's not just your run of the mill.
Excites me.
One, it's like the collector. I'm also big on like the glass. So I was a little sad. This is not my first pick glass that I wanted.
Not your number one draft pick.
So I had another one, and then they didn't have the quantity I needed. They were like, "Oh shoot, we're so sorry." And I'm like, "No,
supply
my
chain,
dreams,
COVID, you understand?" No.
Yeah, I'm like, "Wait, it's 2024. What happened?" No. But it was the Midland. So did you know our first year of Drink Illinois, our one with like the red lettering?
Yes.
And it's like straight, and then it opens up a little bit or whatever. And imagine a little 5 ounce of the Midland. And I just loved it. It was so sexy. It was sleek.
Found it.
Yeah.
Emotional Arc Midland.
Yeah. They're lying to you if they say they have 6,000 because they don't.
They don't.
You would lie to.
They're not saying that.
I was pretty sad. So that could be a future Fobab.
Wait, is it this? Is it that one?
Yeah, it was
something
that.
Like similar to that?
But imagine that in 5 ounces.
That is.
It was just cute.
Oh no, this is
That's
16 ounce.
16.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. My bad.
So it was just a little baby, and it was cute. I don't know.
It was like quantity 1,000. 5 ounce. No, I'm just kidding.
That's only 1,000. Yeah, I think they were able to get me like 2,500, and I was like, we can't. Not mixing. We don't do
with that. That's when you kind of like big time. You're like, well, that'd be cute for maybe a festival that you're familiar with, but for the festivals that I am a part of.
Do you know Fobab? Please.
Maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah. So, but the stemless is great. It's cute. I like it. I think the colors and, so Bigfoot does, our design and stuff, and the colors that they have, like popping and stuff, are really cool. Yeah. And so it's I think a bright green on the glass, which will be really cool.
Do you guys have to think about that? Like a lot of these beers are going to be dark.
Oh, yeah. You have to. And so like a gold and a silver, like the metallics look awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
a little more expensive.
A lot more expensive. When we try to make sure that we're spending the money on like the fun things and, the cool stuff. But the glass is cool. Outside, the only newer thing is, so Bardstown is back, but now they're going to have a trailer. So there'll be the rail car in the trailer.
They'll be outdoor.
They'll be outdoor. The fire pits will be back, which was always cool. And we just try to make the ambiance and spike things up a little bit and make the flow even better. We always listen to what people say, and if someone tries to give a suggestion and it makes sense, and we obviously make changes. But I think after being at the credit union arena for the fourth year, I think that we've kind of got it down pat.
Settling home a little bit, settling in.
Yeah.
Here's a question I'd throw at is like, what would you say to somebody that's like $85? Like, I gotta pay $85?
Dude, do you know what you're getting?
My first thought was like, dude, it's basically all you can drink for 5 hours.
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I didn't say
Almost.
You said it.
Yeah,
I didn't say it.
I didn't say
it. When you think about a barrel-aged beer, right? You can use a Workforce, for example, or any half-acre Brothership. A barrel-aged beer isn't just your regular IPA or pale ale, right? So usually it's a big beer. And as we know, big beers cost a lot more money to make. There's a lot more that goes into it, and it's a lot more time consuming. And then you add in a barrel, right? So barrels, they're not cheap, right? Mm-hmm. And it goes in this barrel, and they've sat on it, and it's blood, sweat, and tears.
How much does time cost?
Right? Time.
How much does 18 months, 24 months, 36 months?
Also, can we talk about they're not making
tasting 30
barrels of it.
Right.
They're making some of these brewers, it's just enough to enter Fobab.
A barrel.
53
gallons. 53 gallons. Maybe some are working in journeyman barrels at 35 gallons. Open outcry.
Right?
They did that for a long time.
So you have less. And so these are almost sometimes priceless. And you can't get them anywhere. Or if you do get them, one can, what's one can of a Revolution what is it? VSOJ?
VSOJ, VSOR, Rye, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
What's Marty touching?
Did
Marty walk by that barrel? Yeah, I'll buy it.
He did.
No,
Did he touch it?
Yeah,
Magic.
he was by it. He called the guy once that owns that barrel.
On it.
Marty did. Okay, we're good.
But so, you think about that so that's included, right? Think about the Goose Island, any of the variants, right? You get to try any of those or have any of those, and
just crazy.
What those cost. Because I think some of those variants are pretty pricey. Mead, a bottle of mead is crazy, so expensive. It's insane.
You want some Berry White at $80 a bottle,
right?
Sure, for 375 milliliters, maybe.
Can we also talk about Bardstown? Bardstown's going to be out there with bourbon whiskey.
Probably some cool fusion blends and all that.
The bottles are how much money? Yeah. So, and then you have the Lager Lounge, right? All this lager and this good stuff. And so what I can say is if you compare the $85 ticket of Fobab to any run-in-the-mill festival, this isn't, just your regular, like any breweries kind of thrown into it. This is also at least 25 breweries from across the nation. Some beers that you'll never get to try unless you live in that state.
Most beers.
Most of those beers. They don't distribute in Illinois. You can't get that beer.
Even if you live in this state, you're not necessarily going to try that beer. You're not going to get access to that beer.
Right. So where else can you try a bunch of barrel-aged stuff that you may never get to try again, knowing that maybe you fall in love with it and then you want to buy their beer or join their program to be able to get their beer or whatever it might be. So at the end of the day, what I say to $85 is I'd say you're getting a hell of a deal.
Yeah. I just wanted you to say it. That's all. Yeah. I didn't want to be the one making the sales pitch. I'm bought and sold. I'm bought and sold.
Well, it's a hard.
Yeah, it's a tough
topic, and
it's one of those sticker shock almost. If you don't understand it, you're just like, oh, I'm not that into craft beer.
What I'd say is, you come once.
Experience. Wow.
You'll
seriously.
You'll be back.
You'll lock in.
You'll be in. Yeah, it's one of those.
It's such a cool experience, and I can't imagine going there and having a bad time unless you just like completely overserved yourself and blacked out.
Yeah. And there's tons of water stations. So if you're not drinking water,
so much water,
I will mama bear you and I will make sure, because I tend to do that you're drinking water.
That's all right. That's what the people need. People need to be told.
They do.
So look, I think we've spent a good hour, 30 minutes talking about Fobab, right? Yeah. So we thought Fobab is fine. If Fobab comes up again, we follow that trail. We'll stay with it. But what I'm curious about is how the hell did you become? I've met you, right before kids and in this whole swing of things. So like, what led you here? Like, what was your life path like? Yeah, just a small town girl living in a lonely world. Where'd you come from?
Yeah, I don't know how I got here.
I don't even.
Jeez, did I take a wrong turn?
Like Betty Ford.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I like to help and I like to do fun and new things, and if I like something, then I kind of like engorge myself in it, I think. And I went to a beer fest with my brother. And I was always like, "Ooh, dark beer's Guinness. I don't think I like that. I don't know." And which,
yeah, totally.
It was just like that
of us.
mindset, right? And I'd be like, "Oh, okay, drink like a dead guy, like a rogue dead guy or whatever."
Yeah.
But so my brother took me to this beer fest, and it was so much fun. And I was like, "Oh my God, there's so many fun beers," and it was just such a great time. But what caught me more than anything was I was like, how do I pour that beer? How do I be one of those people working? I don't know why.
What?
That was me. I'm
any
weird.
idea?
I'm weird.
Any
I don't know.
Reasoning why you're like,
no, I'm just.
That's cool.
I was like, how can I help? Oh my God, that person carrying ice. How can I help? How can I do that? Like, I'm weird. Like, the trash can's overflowing.
What is wrong with you?
There is so many things. I go
they're
to
almost out of water.
Honestly,
they're almost out of water.
I go to events that I know nobody around, and I'm like having anxiety. Like, should I just empty that trash can and put the new bag that I see right there in it? And then can I help with the ice because they're low? Like, I'm weird like that. I don't know. It's like the short circuit in me. So went to this beer fest and was like, love this, had so much fun. How do I be one of those people? And I just kind of asked around, and the next year, like, saw a thing to like volunteer. And then they're like, hey, if you want to like come to these volunteer meetings. And I was like, yes, sign me up.
Yeah, they fucking got you.
They
were
hook, line, and sinker.
They were like, man, we'd have you in Waco in the cult.
Dude,
like,
I'm like,
you'd be Heaven's Gate wearing all white, drinking the Kool-Aid.
Hook, line, like the little dollar bill. I'm like, ooh, look, like something shiny. Yeah. And I went to these meetings. Next thing you know, I was wearing a walkie-talkie and I was helping. And then I was on the board of this fest, but I was in corporate America and I was doing this.
I don't know what the hell was going on.
Right? I was doing this daily grind.
What the hell were you doing every day?
I was doing staffing and staffing sales.
That's very general. That's very general. Like was that like you graduated college and then that's what your degree took you?
No, graduated college and I played soccer in college and I don't know why I wanted to be a sports announcer.
Hell yeah.
And not just any sport. I thought football was
I was a sports broadcast major too.
Yeah.
So, and in college, that's my degree.
Right? Yeah. I did more like media because I was like, do I want to do television? Do I want to do radio?
Yeah.
And
I did all
like,
that news, all that stuff.
All of it. But in my head, I was like, well, clearly they're going to want me for like Sunday and Monday night football. Clearly. Done, right?
Like Erin Andrews is a slut. I would be so much better than
Please,
her.
she didn't even exist. And also I was like soccer and football, right? Like in my head, it was just really silly. But I had
this.
I was like, this is fine. But when I playing soccer, I couldn't do any of the internships because I was playing soccer. And so again, it was just like these unrealistic things. And it's fine. In my head, it was all going to go together.
I feel like you could still get there if you wanted to.
Nah, I'm okay. It's fine. It's fine. I played powder puff, so I felt like I was totally legit in high school. But yeah, so out of college, so all the way through, I worked in bar restaurant, so like did the hostessing, and I served, and I bartended, and then I managed.
You knew the people.
I did, and
the
then
scourge.
And then it was like, would you be interested in GMing? And I was like, just graduated, like I need to get out of here. Like I need to do something different. Like I've been doing this since my parents had to like sign the little slip to allow me to work. Right, like that. I was young, right?
I was that kid too.
Right, like, and I love it.
Bussing tables at 14.
Seriously, like making the money. I don't even know where that money went. Like. Katie, like time machine would go back and be like, you're gonna actually save that and not buy all this like stupid stuff. Like I think I was like in hipsters in downtown Naperville taking all my money.
Shit right now.
Oh, right. 42 still doing it. Yeah.
Shit.
And got the kids, but that's okay. So I was in staffing. I was in medical staffing, and then I was doing sales. So I was doing medical staffing sales and knew all the medical.
I don't even know what that means.
I know.
What is medical staffing sales? What is medical staffing sales?
Medical staffing sales. So back in...
You're selling people?
People.
You're trafficking people?
I traffic.
You're a headhunter?
Well, so you may remember, but like in 04, 05, like you couldn't have... There were 3 full staffing shifts in hospitals.
Yeah.
So you had first, second, and third shift, and they were full. Like you had what you seen like during the day at a hospital was like what you saw at night and then over hours. Mm-hmm. You don't see that anymore, which
it's completely F now.
Yeah, I mean it was like
beyond now.
It was a well-oiled machine, and now it's woohoo.
Yeah.
So you would have x-ray techs, and so it was everything but the doctors, right? So you have nurses, you had x-ray techs, you had anything with radiology and anything with the medical records or the coding and anything in therapy, anything in lab. So when I first started, I was staffing radiology, so all radiology. And then less than a year in, I was promoted and I was doing sales. And so I was working with all these medical facilities to help staff them. So whether it was hospitals or clinics and whatnot. And so did that for a really, really long time. Loved it. And then got in the niche within there of home health. So, and home health was just like booming at one time. It was insane and crazy.
We know some home health nurses.
Yeah. Right.
Crazy stories.
Dude.
Crazy stories.
Dude, I have some crazy
stories.
Cousin
Stephanie. Oh, my wife's cousin Stephanie.
Gotta get her on. I want to hear some of these stories.
I would love to, but I doubt she'd ever do it.
Stephanie, do it.
Just like the grossest, worst things ever. I don't know.
It's bananas in your word.
You're just like in the house of a family.
You don't know.
You're just experiencing their dynamic. You don't know.
Oh, you don't know.
You don't know what you're walking into.
Nope.
I imagine the same thing like a paramedic feels like. Like you're just entering the house.
Right,
you don't
cold.
know what the fuck's gonna happen while you're in there.
Yeah, like best of luck to you.
Anyways, come on, staffing.
So I was doing that, and then went and got into engineering. So left medical, There was a lot of non-competes and stuff at the time, so I couldn't really stick in the medical. And so when I left, it was engineering, and so it was more like scientific. Scientific's not really as big in Illinois as it is out east or out west, and so like more got into engineering. And so before I 100% left corporate America for this, I was engineering, staffing, sales. So you're engineers, I guess you would say, all aspects of like engineer, whatnot. I know that it's weird how much COVID has changed in like the workforce to like see in like medical and engineering, like how different it is. But so left that boring, like in front of a computer on the phone, obviously visiting clients. So I have a really, really strong sales background. And I think but I also like to help and stuff. So when I was like doing all this volunteering, and then for like a hot minute, I actually worked for Virtue Cider, doing like festivals and stuff. Yeah. Which was hilarious because I've grown a respect for cider. Beer's got my heart. Yeah. But when I was doing it,
developed the love.
Yeah, it's a definite acquired taste that necessarily I always like equate to like white wine, and I'm a red wine drinker kind of thing.
100%. I am fully on board with you on that. Red wine drinker.
You're picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah, very specific. Yes.
I mean, and I was like the weird one. My mom was like, "You like red wine, and that's really weird." Like I always loved red wine at a young age. Come on.
Never give a shit about white wine.
No.
Either it's like Riesling too sweet, even Pinot Grigio, like
Chardonnay is like cardboard. Yeah, but like I always feel like the outcast though with a lot of the girlfriends because they're all like, "Oh, the white wine," and I'm like, "Oh, is nobody's. We're gonna crack that red wine bottle."
It's a red wine house. All right, God damn it.
Right? Yeah. No, and then I'm like the goof who's like drinking the one bottle by myself, and then we're wondering why I'm
cabs up, bitch.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, Katie's making real great decisions, drinking the one bottle.
Whatever.
So. Did that for a hot minute with cider, and then just was helping at Beer Fest, and then was on a board of a beer fest, this Midwest Brewers Fest, and was approached by ICBG. So for a while, I was helping at ICBG events. I was
Craft Brewers Guild, in case anybody's
Illinois
wondering.
Craft Brewers Guild. So I was
Craft Brewers Guild.
working like the check-in for Fobab, and for I helped at Bug.
Sucked you right in. They sucked you right in.
And I was asked, and I was like, "That's great. I like what I do. I also do really well in corporate, but thank you," kind of thing, and just kind of broke me down, and I was like, "Fine," which I love it, and I have so much pride in it that, from over a decade ago to where it is now, and how much it's changed, and even just the amount of brewers that were part of the guild to like now, like thinking about how small it was, and.
I'm listening to your timeline, like in context, and just kind of hearing, clues and bits and pieces of time, and I'm just kind of like, the amount of change that you've seen.
It's crazy, and it's funny because it's so hard to like not see a lot of these brewers as like friends and family because like you go to their birthday parties, I remember when we were all cool, right? And we got to hang out, and then now we have kids and we're all like, man, let's put it on the books for like 8 months from now.
Everybody was out down. Oh, let's fucking Tuesday. Yeah, let's go.
Right? Like industry night was
Monday,
a thing.
Let's go industry night.
Yeah. And everybody's show. And now it's like coordinating babysitters and like we're not cool.
We all suck so bad.
Well, and like why I'm partial, like, workforce is right in our backyard, but like I joke because I'm like, we could bring the kids.
It's perfect, right? Because like my kids are so used to being there that it doesn't phase them. So it's not like we have to go reintroduce them to a whole new place. It's like they're like, we're going to the place with the aliens, or we're going to the place that has now my 3-year-old says the place that has the Chex Mix, which is Happy Belly has.
Yes.
Like they'll do a stout Chex Mix or Japanese inspired Chex Mix. He loves it. So my 3 kids feel right at home at Workforce.
Right.
And of course the staff knows them because I work there every now and again, but it's just
I think
wild.
our kids have played together,
right? Like,
in like the kid little corner.
Yeah, it's like how great. Like a place like that. That place is the model of what most breweries would probably want to be today. Ones that maybe try to scale up too fast, or these ones that maybe aren't here anymore. It's like that place has been supported by the community for the better part of 10 years.
Yeah,
and they continue to do everything the right way. It's so much integrity. So like their people that work for them are just incredible.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about the place. People probably hate hearing me talk about it, but it's like, I'm sorry, when you're doing it right and you lasted for 10 years, and it's not an easy space right now.
No, it's not. And that's such a hard thing. And, my hat goes off to all the brewers that have just continued to push through and try to get creative, and
they're all out there still killing it.
They're
all
really
just good
are.
people. I always tell people, like, these are smart people making your beer. These aren't morons. These aren't dipshits that brew in their basement.
This state, like, maybe I'm biased, but like, being part of Guild and seeing other states and stuff, like, I feel like that Illinois has like had it together for years beyond others in that you work together, you collab together, you do things together, and you succeed together. You don't do it separately. And
well, yeah, there's a lot of rising tide lifts all boats type situation. It feels like that was a mentality of a lot. There's always outliers. There's always going to be.
Right.
And at the volumes that we reached at peak points,
right.
It's like, sure, there's going to be a couple dipshits. There's going to be a couple assholes that ruin it, but
there's always one.
But man, you're talking 98%. Like, you're talking like 98% of these people are fucking salt of the earth, like just amazing human beings, and enough so where it inspired me to start an entire fucking podcast that I didn't get paid a dime to do. You're talking 100 episodes I recorded, just because I loved it that much, because I loved the people that much. It almost backfired on me, even the fact that it became part of the industry. It almost got too close to it, and then I lost the fun, the passion for it. It's like, so it's always nice to look at a person like you that's able to do both and like still have that love and passion and enjoy all the people, but also it's your career.
It's weird. It's tough.
Wait, I have a weird question for you before we get into that. Do you have a bottle opener handy on you? If you don't, I'm gonna go just run into the kitchen real quick and grab one, because I feel like if we're gonna sit here and talk about a barrel-aged beer festival, we should at least have one nip on a barrel-aged beer. Don't worry about it. I'll get the proper one. I'll get the proper one here. They're just out there doing it.
It's like a quadruple wax job.
Ooh, lock in the coconut.
I am ready for some coconut goodness.
I can't see your glass. Push it towards me. There we go. All right. Well, I'll edit everything before this, and this is where we start again. Boom. I mean, I don't want to send you anywhere. We'll have plenty left over if you feel like you want some more.
Hey, do you want me to hold your glass for you?
Yes, if you don't mind, that'd be lovely of you. Yeah.
That smells delightful.
I don't want to say like similar stories. Like, I never went to festivals and was like, I want to help. Like, I just went to. I would always go to breweries and be like,
I want to work here.
I would go. It would be like I always admired the people. I don't know why. Like, I always admired servers at like Hailstorm and at Workforce and at Solemn Oath and these places. It just, once I started really getting into beer, it was just like, man, these people seem so cool. Like, they have this kind of like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Like, for a living, or even a side hustle, or what? Like, I don't know. I was always fascinated by it, and always had good conversations with the bartenders. So it was just like, never in a million years would I thought I'd ever work in the industry. Like, ever, not a chance.
Yeah, because you left your corporate job.
Yeah, that was Dan and Denver over at Crafted. They were just like, hey, man, like, they were on the podcast. Months and months went by after we did the episode of the podcast, and Dan called me, and he's like, we have this idea. They're like, how, like, he explained, like, the whole dynamic of a bottle shop and how a lot of your money just comes through the draft lines, and the percentages and profit are higher at the draft lines. But he's like, we're seeing a lot of good sales and package, but we're not getting people to stay and hang out. So I think we need somebody to talk to them and like keep them in the bar stools. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's neat. Like, what are you telling me this for?
Yeah.
They're like, well, you have a pocket. Like, you obviously know how to talk beer with people. I'm like, oh, that's what you're saying. Like,
you're choosing me.
Like, oh, I have a 401k and kids, like, and a salary.
Sign me up.
I'm like, I can't do that. And they're like, yeah, they figured it out though. I mean, so much credit to Denver and Dan for that. Like, they figured it out to where like I was making just as much money, like, just from tips and all that. And then, it got me into the industry. Then doing the podcast literally like benefited me in no way financially directly for doing the podcast, but eventually got me 2 different jobs, because phase 3, I met Evan and Sean doing the podcast with them. And when they left Moore, I was still friends with them, and I was told the secret plan. at Workforce of all places.
Look at that.
Yeah, Evan was coming back from drill in Peoria for the Air Guard, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm going to Workforce tonight." It was a Surrounded by Idiots night. So like Steve Miller,
gosh.
Brandon, Alex.
Was that when they had the skateboard ramp?
Yep, that was
death?
the one. That was the one. And Evan showed up in his full flight suit, like the full green zip up onesie.
I feel like I saw you guys there.
There's pictures.
Yeah.
There's pictures. And
No,
then,
I feel like I was there. Like
yeah, you probably were.
yeah, because I remember the skateboard thing, and I mean, they definitely lived up to the name of the Idiots. Oh my god.
Yeah, we did a podcast for the first one at Hailstorm. I mean, it was a wild one. It's like Chris Betts and Sean and Alex and the boys. Oh my God, who are the brothers that I'm missing? Way up north.
Oh, Brian's.
Yeah.
From Flesk.
Yeah,
Flesk. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. How come I couldn't pull Flesk out of my ass?
You know, it's
That's
crazy.
on me, boys. Sorry about that if you listen to this, but great guys, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
That was some fun days. But yeah, Evan was like, "Oh yeah, Brittany mocked up these little things. It's kind of a pipe dream." This was like February 2018, maybe 2019. I can't remember. I was like, "Oh, that's sweet. You guys are gonna do your own thing. That's awesome." Like, but he's like, "That's kind of a pipe dream, maybe." And then I'm talking like, not even a month later, Sean called me. And he's like, "It's happening." He's like, "Can we come on your podcast and announce it?" And I was like, "That was maybe like." Pardon my French, but maybe the biggest boner I've ever had. Just like thinking about like, oh my God, like how cool is this? Like these guys. Sean is somebody I respected in beer so much, you know, like that. When they made that move and made Phase 3, I was just like, oh, cool. I get to be kind of a part of it. Then a year goes by, then I start working for them.
Right.
You know, like they're distributing beer. That was it. And I get to start working for them. But then,
full circle.
Yeah. And then now I'm back in my boring cubicle job. But it's so nice to have a podcast back, get to talk about this stuff, get to talk to cool people like yourself.
Well, look at this, how much it's evolved.
I mean, this is fun. Like I just put this together on Amazon and shoestrings, you know. It's like just
doesn't look like
just
it.
figuring it out, just trying to figure it out. Video's such an animal. But like I did broadcasting in college, so I had a little, you know, I kind of kept up.
You remember? I don't remember.
I edited like wedding videos for a friend, like on the side for a while. So I was staying like somewhat familiar with editing software and that over time, but it was always a hobby. I always took like overly excessive like home videos when like the kids were born and stuff. So like, you know, Addison has like the first 2 weeks of her life basically on, you know, clips and stuff that I put together, and
for like the firstborn,
have like a 1 year video.
You have 3 or 4?
I have 3 now.
Okay,
so.
But your thirdborn like has
JJ's
what, like a 30-minute?
No, well, the good thing about JJ is I have all the footage. I just not put it together in a timeline and like put it, you know, showed it to anyone.
Those poor thirdborn.
But yeah.
Well, that's how like we joke with
it got worse with Joseph, but Addison got it all.
Firstborn gets like the whole kit and caboodle.
100%.
And then you're kind of like, well, you know, the surprise and the new of weren't up. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
Secondborn and thirdborn.
Here, I'll just do a quick shout out to the boys at Brothership here.
It's
just
delightful.
making great. So in honor of Fobab, a barrel aged beer. Hopefully one day they'll win a medal. Nobody works with coconut quite like these guys. I mean, they know their way around coconut. I believe this one has hazelnut. I think it's coconut, hazelnut, chocolate maybe. But this was, I think, their 4th barrel aged beer, perhaps. And this is a second
rye
iteration
whiskey.
of it. Yep, it's a rye.
28 months in a rye whiskey and bourbon barrels with roasted coconuts, Madagascar vanilla beans, toasted coconut, and raw coconut.
All the different.
So there's a different. That's what they get you is like the different coconuts, not just toasted but raw. 14 coming in at a big 1.4%.
Yeah, it's a big one. This was a high octane episode. I did not plan for that.
Dude, yeah,
it's my fault. I did not.
What did we even start
that
with?
makes sense.
Like,
Yeah, we made like an 8% double, half acre double IPA,
and then straight to the
permanent funeral from 3 Floyd.
Jeez.
Just a class. I just didn't know they were doing it in cans and 16 ounces, and I went to a liquor store nearby, and it's limited, but I saw it, and it was within like a month date produced. I was like, God, I used to love this beer.
I was gonna say,
so
do you
much.
remember when it being like the big bomber?
Yeah, oh yeah. I used to drive my ass up there as much as I could.
All the time to get the
zombie dust and
gumball
if
head
they had
cases
that, yep.
for what?
$40.
Yeah.
No tax, $40. Load it up. Take
My
the
favorite,
40-minute ride.
How many people did you see that would go with like their own dolly?
Yeah.
No joke.
There would always be this Asian couple there. They ran a restaurant locally from talking to them because I'd see them there all the time. So we'd talk to them.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, we just sell it. They basically illegally would just buy cases of it and then sell it to their customers at their Chinese restaurant.
I mean, why not?
It was crazy. I'm like, that's awesome. Like that's some cowboy shit.
I do miss that brew pub, man. That fish and chips there were
their mussel. I am not a seafood person. Their mussels there
Never had 'em.
were incredible.
Really?
It was like a butter gumball head sauce. It was like smoked that sausage in there. Like, I do not like that kind of food usually, but a friend of mine got it the one day I tried it, and that was what I ordered all the time.
Which of all things?
I get the mussels. The first meal I had there had a bacon jam on a chicken sandwich, I think, that I've never forgotten. Like it's one of these toppings on a burger that I've never forgotten my whole life.
Isn't that funny how like things stick with you? You know,
and I see like bacon jam on things, and I will order it, and I'm like, no, this isn't what I had. This was like marmalade with fucking bacon chunks in it. It was so good. It was so stupid good. Had like Havarti cheese and like spinach on this focaccia bread type thing. I was like, oof.
You'd be like, Nick Floyd, give me that recipe so I can make my own
They switched it all the time too, you know?
Yeah.
Like the menu would switch all the time, so.
I always like to like the little gumball machine. You put like 25 cents in there and get like a 3 Floyd pin or.
It's so sick over there.
It's
old school. I mean, like it's not even that old school. Like you've been in the game longer than I have, both in it and probably even a fan of it. Like I really started drinking it regularly probably in like 2012, 2013 maybe. Was buying a lot of Lagunitas.
Yeah, that was when
I worked at a place where like the girl that I worked with, it was great. Her husband would come. He worked for Binny's for a long time. And then when they started to build out Pilsen too.
Yeah.
When they were starting that like whole process, they started bringing on more reps regionally, and he became a rep, and he would come meet her for lunch, and he would give me 6-packs. And I would feel guilty because I'd be like, I'm not going to drink this shit. It was like Czech pills and
no way.
And Dogtown and all these things. And I would bring it home, and I had a good friend of mine who liked craft beer. So I'd be like, Kyle, come over, dude. He's like, I got like 12 of these beers. I don't know. And then all of a sudden I was like, I kind of like the Czech pills.
I'm gonna drink this. Good.
I'm drinking Spotted Cow. I drink like, maybe a Moon Man or something. But then I started to like the IPA, and all of a sudden the hops started to get regular for me. I was drinking Hop Stupid like crazy.
Oh yeah,
I would drink Hop Stupid so much. 22-ounce bomber, $4.99 or whatever at wherever Mariano's, and it was history from there. Then it was Solemn Oath came into the picture.
My brother and I went to their opening like before they opened, which was crazy because Solemn Oath was the first brewery with a tap room in the state. And I remember being like, this is the coolest thing. And we were just like, they were taking for people to name, I think it was Butterfly Flash Mob is the name that they went. But like,
I used to love their beer names.
And they
Whisper
asked like
Kisses.
And they were asking the public like
American Wreckage Master, I think.
They had some crazy, but we went to that. And so like it was such a cool time too. Like when things were growing, but when you were talking about your friend bringing you beer, it reminded me of, so my cousin, Patrick, he had worked for, oh my gosh, and I'm going to blank on what distributor. I was still in college, but we had
Blue
Christmas.
Ribbon, Kozel, Windy City,
it was
Lakeshore.
Who had Honkers and Grolsch at the time.
Probably Lakeshore Beverage.
So this was in 2000.
You talking about Goose? They had Goose?
They had Honkers and Grolsch. This is 2002.
Wait, what's Honkers? I thought Honkers Ale was Goose.
Yeah, Honkers.
They had Goose, yeah. So
this is in 2002.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe they changed since then. But Lakeshore was, Bud.
Yeah, I don't know who it was at the time. And
yeah, you're probably right.
So he would come. We would have Christmas. Would have all the family over, and my dad's on 1 to 6, my mom's on 4, and we'd have both sides, and so it'd be all the crazy cousins together. And so my cousin would bring these cases that were ones that like would maybe have like one broken bottle in it, so they couldn't sell it.
Yes.
And so, and the crazy thing is, I'd be like, what are these weird green bottles? And it was the green bottle with like, the top that you put on, and then you flip the
flip top,
right?
Swing tops.
The swing
tops. That's what they were.
And so it was the swing tops, and then having the Goose Island Honkers Ale, and to think about take a little bit more.
I'll hit it.
To think about like now, like not really understanding the appreciation of it, and being like, like
I know, right? Like,
especially with Honkers, like
we just didn't appreciate it.
Like Golden Goose. But yeah, just kind of funny when you had mentioned that. But it's crazy though to think about like the growth of the breweries, and just like
That's
how
what I'm
far.
saying. Like, you have seen a lot. like you have seen the hockey stick completely up and to the right, and it was never going to end. It was fucking.
It was
endless
bonkers.
profits and fun and it was just like, oh
crazy
my God,
fun.
like we'll never make enough beer.
And like
never
so
gonna
much
make enough beer.
And like so much goofy fun. Like if you even think about it, because you mentioned it before when Palin had Pale Popper. Like I remember going to that. So we went to Dark Lord and we went over to Pale Popper after because this is the same day, and it was just like this freaking party. Like it was just made this festival.
Even make sense.
It was crazy. And
Mike's whole reasoning, right, was what's the opposite of a Dark Lord? A Pale Popper. Okay.
It was just like, it was hilarious. And like him and Miller, and they're dipping cans in wax. And
Steve, fucking slap shot.
Dude, I'm wondering if we still even have, for the longest time I had one or two of the cans that we never even opened. And but just to think about, like, you just would have like a fest or a party just to have it because you could.
Silly. Yep.
And it was just like a fest that like people didn't even know about because you didn't even advertise about, but people just came, and it was like, it was like a party, you know? Insane to me to think about. Like,
and now it's like, what can we do to draw more people out?
I know.
How many bingos, singos, trivia nights? It's like what it's so hard to get innovative and fresh and like keep up with what do people actually want. And again, I hate to keep going back to it, and that's why I love Workforce so much. It's like they keep it basic. It's live music, and we're open Wednesday through Sunday, and we're gonna make West Coast IPAs and a shit ton of lagers, and we'll throw in some of that fun haze stuff. And we got world class sours and
paper airplanes.
Man, yeah, seriously, paper airplane. In the new stuff they've been doing, they've been testing out some new stuff with their haze, with that soup season they just put out, the Snuffleupagus that they just did. They're outstanding. Like, I can drink.
Do you like Workforce?
Formerly known as is like, it's a. I could fill my whole fridge with that. I'd be happy. I'd be fine with it if I don't drink anything else. Anyways, so enough love for Brandon and Amanda. So besides Illinois Craft Brewers Guild is not just Fobab, right?
No.
I mean, I know that's a lot of the reason we want to talk about it's coming up. It was something that we wanted to cover. It's an epic event, but I mean, Beer Under Glass and the CAP event, the Chicago Craft Beer Week, or
the Passport,
Illinois Craft Beer Week, Passport. Maybe talk a little bit about like what else you guys do. Like, why the hell would I join the Brewers Guild if I opened a brewery in Illinois?
Yeah. So, well, because you want to be cool, right? And you want to hang out with me. No, you want to be my email pen pal. Honestly, it's advocacy, one, and if you're a member or not, you're going to get the advocacy, but we won't hear your voice, right? There's a lot of breweries in the state of Illinois, but they're not all the same, and they're not all looking for the same thing. Their issues aren't always all the same, right? Chicago breweries face different issues,
Metropolis,
or whatever,
Murfreesboro,
or even then Plainfield, right? It's a night and day. Or in Northern Illinois, or you're out in Rockford, or you're Central Illinois. Go Redbirds, but it's a different
go Redbirds.
It's a different world down in Central Illinois and Springfield, and then you have.
We were just out there. We were just out in Bloomington.
Were you?
Out in Bloomington.
Very nice. That's my alma mater. But
the old White Oak boys.
Oh hell. Yeah. But then, you even get downstate, right? And so you have Scratch in Ava, Illinois,
dude,
which,
how about that?
Dude,
They're so stupid. That's so cool.
If you've never made that trip.
It's one of my biggest regrets of the beer podcast. We've talked and we would have done it, but it would have relied on me to have to go all the way out there, and I suck. So.
And have you been out there ever?
No.
Okay.
But
let me just tell you. They make
beer is incredible. Everything's visually.
Everything that they make, they forge. And so the most amazing thing is you go to this brewery, they built it.
Yeah.
The pizzas.
So I've heard.
The pizzas, like they forge. The pizzas are whatever they forged for. And the goats that they have on the land, that's the goat milk and the goat cheese that they make. Like, you want to talk about who's going to survive a zombie apocalypse, which, I hope I would.
They got it.
They have it.
Well, you would, because you go to.
I'm
Ava,
making my
Illinois.
way to Ava, Illinois.
Yeah, say you're going to.
And
Ava.
I'm gonna help them forge.
Yeah.
But then you have Old Bakery Brewing, which is legit on like the border of Illinois, St. Louis, because St. Louis.
See, I'm not familiar with them.
So Missouri, like St.
That'd
Louis,
be a John
comes
Bitterman
in.
call. I'd be like, John, tell me more about
He
this
would.
place. Yeah.
So they're in an actual like old big bakery building. I've never been. Would love to make it down, but they're all the way down at the edge of Illinois, and so and I know every state has that same kind of hurdle, but it's so different what everyone's needs, wants, whatever are. And so as a member, we hear that, right? So we're going to be able to hear from Scratch or Old Bakery Brewing of what's going on in central or southern Illinois, and, the breweries in Springfield, Illinois, and the breweries in Bloomington, Illinois, and the Quad Cities, and those, bordering Indiana and those bordering Wisconsin, of what they need and what's going on. And so as a member, you're talking to us and we're advocating for you. We're lobbying for you. We're trying to continue to fight battles just to make sure that as a small business, you're able to get what you need, or at least we're trying to fight for it. Yeah. And then there's the education, right? And so it sounds goofy, but what Fobab is, and what Beer Under Glass is, and what the Drink Illinois Passport is, and it's all educational. We're trying to educate people on what Illinois has to offer, and what different things the brewers have to offer. And so Fobab, whether it's barrel aged and different things. And so there's the educational aspect, and then we also have the membership aspect. So if you're a member as a brewery, or even associate member, right? You come to these meetings, and so we have educational seminars, and so we're always trying to continue that education and to make sure that we're, always doing what we can to help you educate your staff, your front of the house, your back of the house, your brewers, your whatever it might be. So it's kind of like a all-encompassing thing. So aside from just festivals, which is what a lot of people just think I do, it's not just that. I mean, it does.
Man, she's just out here having fun.
Right? And this is what I'm just drinking all the time. No, not really, ever. But it's, there's a lot that it does have to offer to be a member. But also, if you don't have a brewery and you don't have a business that has anything to do with breweries, volunteer, right? Like, volunteering's fun, and you get to hang out with a lot of cool ass people.
Pretty sick. Some sick people.
Cool people, right? Like, and people that are gonna be like friends forever.
How about the golf outing? The golf outing. I remember being a part of the golf outing. Is it still happening?
Yes, it is.
Happening regularly?
Yeah.
That was like Ruffled Feathers, maybe, when I was there. I can't remember. Me and Evan were there. We worked a whole.
Well, you didn't flip a golf cart, so that's good. Nobody flipped a golf cart.
No, we didn't. We were very well behaved.
You were very well behaved.
We did get to hang out at the. We got to see like Justin from Hop Butcher and Aaron when he was. I think Aaron was just leaving Rev maybe, and he was going to Moore at the time.
Yep.
That was the period I was there. We were just on the golf course.
There's some like
lulls and
serious golfers. There's some serious golfers in the brewing industry. Like, they like take golfing really seriously. And then there's like the people like me where I'm like, are we just gonna drive around the golf cart, hit a couple holes? How many beers were your shotgun? Right. No, the golf outing is a really fun time. It really is. It's always a party. But it's a shotgun start and stuff, and it's like, it's cool because you don't need to be the best golfer or have like the best foursome, because it's like closest to the hole, right? And so like you find like the best average, which I've learned a lot about golf.
No shit. I don't know anything about golf. I suck at golf. I don't play it. That's not for me.
I'm really good at driving the golf cart.
I have so much fun, though.
But you can come drive the golf cart with me.
I would
it's
do
really
it.
Fun.
I would do it. You say you need volunteers to drive people around, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm in.
Sold.
Might be safer.
Yeah, so we did the golf outing this year. It was new. They did a disc golf outing.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah, Brando at the course. Yep.
Geez, okay. This guy again.
It comes full
this
circle.
guy again.
So we try to do a lot of fun things like that as well. But yeah, I always forget to like the fun stuff that we do.
No, it's a lot. I mean, all that stuff, it takes a lot to plan those things.
It
and
is
get everybody involved and get
still
the donations.
Be a mom and a wife.
Right. And then and be there to receive everybody. Check everybody off the list and make sure you're at the right hole, and then participate in the thing.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And like what is the golf outing every year? Is it one charity that it always goes to? Is it always for the guild?
It's for the guild. We usually do.
The guild isn't generating a bunch of money,
It's right. Unfortunately, we're not able to do. I think AJ runs like a really big one that has a charity, and it's like
Sandra.
I mean, I could never imagine.
Shout out AJ.
Like
he raised a lot of money for
Yeah.
Lurie
the
Children's.
children's, right, which is amazing, and it's a huge one. Ours is like nothing to his level or scale.
He's worked hard on that thing, but he's like we talked about. He quits that thing every year.
Right?
Never fucking doing this again.
Well, because it's a lot of work.
And then
but
every
like,
year you're like, all right, I'll do it again.
and he's one like we'll look at what he does and we're like, we wish we would one day be like that amazing. But ours is more of just kind of for the members and stuff. It would be awesome if we could make it big enough. Maybe like where, hey, come golf with a brewer and it's like the general public and stuff.
And they have to bring all their barrel aged beer and
Could
wear it
you-
around their waist like a belt.
Oh my gosh. That
And then
would
you have
be...
to give it to the person that won the raffle.
I don't even know,
I don't
like
know.
barrel age. Like they just have to wear
Doesn't
a six
matter.
still on their back
Yeah.
with a picnic tapper.
It's like,
Oh.
play Luigi's Mansion. He's got the vacuum on his back. Like, that's it. Okay, so this is. I'm not saying we have to end. I'm just saying
Nope.
this is where I want to go. Like, whether it's a long time ago for both of us. You start dating somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
You start meeting people, hitting it off. You got your stories, right? You have like your best story. Do you have a best story? Do you have like what's your go-to story? You got to have like a party story or like when people get rolling. Like, what's like your go-to?
As far as like dating?
No, not dating, but like, you know what I'm saying?
I was
Like-
going to say, I
like
do
when you
have a
start-
funny like
when you-
dating Rob dating
well, that's
story.
fine. But when you start dating people, that's when you like kind of you bring out the good. You show them the good movies, right? We grew up in an era where you watched movies.
Oh,
and
yeah,
went to
yeah.
Blockbuster when you dated
sure.
people, that kind of thing. So I always think of that. Like, you always come out with your good stuff. Like, what's your good material? What's like? Do you have one of your like top story that you like to tell? Whether it's family, growing up, like dating, like you said, beer world, like.
I always like, and poor Rob, I always like to talk about our first meet.
First, like a meet cute. This is like when you first met each other. You guys knew each other.
First met each other. So we oh God, the one time I did online dating.
Oh shit!
I did the serious online dating, met him online. I hated every minute of it.
I missed that whole thing.
Oh, you're so lucky. It was I was only on for like 1 month with this. God, what was it called? It wasn't Match. It was like one of the more serious ones.
Farmers ones.
No.
Plenty of fish in the sea.
No, it was like a serious one.
eHarmony.
eHarmony. You had to like
eHarmony.
fill out the whole thing, and so you see all the pictures and stuff, but sometimes you don't believe it. And so we met at Emmett's in downtown. It was supposed to be the meeting, but the weird thing is he wanted to meet on like a Sunday night, and I was like, "What am I not good enough for like a Friday or a Saturday?"
I'm
like,
more of a Sunday girl, huh?
Oh, really?
Maybe
Like,
he knew.
I'm-
You're an NFL broadcast futures.
I was more of like, what am I, like third tier? Like, who gets the Sunday night? So Sunday night, and
All right, after the Bears game, I guess.
right? And it wasn't even for dinner. It was like drinks and appetizer kind of thing. It was just weird. And I was like, all right, cool. I came to find out why. But so I walk in and I didn't know, but I was the first one there. But I didn't know this because if you ever been in Downers Grove at Emmett's, when you walk in, like you basically see the whole thing.
The
Like you walk
dirty DG.
in, dirty DG. And so at the far end, at the farthest table, a gentleman stands up and does like one of these like,
Oh, it was like it's like commercials when they
Yeah,
like the
like-
joke. They're like, oh, not me. Okay.
but he did and I was like, okay, it's me, you, what?
Yeah, you,
okay,
me,
but I was
me,
like,
you,
oh,
you, me.
I was like, motherfucker. Oh, excuse me, didn't mean to drop that.
You're totally allowed to say that.
Motherfucker, doesn't even look like his picture. This is okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And as I get closer, now I'm like 5'8", almost 5'9". This fella is right here at my chest.
Geez, yeah.
He's right at my ladies, and I was
Damn.
like, there is no way you're just under 6 foot. This is another lie. Like, I'm like, what the heck? And the guy gives me a hug or whatever, and I
Ready to
hug.
fight him.
And the guy goes, he looks at me, he says something, and now mind you, like I'm not even hearing what he's saying because I'm more upset. Like
He's like, Mildred?
this guy, probably.
Like, yeah, you short
I was
little
like,
piece of shit.
Like the whole time, I'm like, you liar, and hugs or whatever. And he says something to me, and I was like, and then I like pull my, Rob, and he goes, no, and now I can't even remember what his name was. What he said it was like he was like, no, it's Mike or something like that, and I was like, you're not Rob, huh? Like it was like,
Thank God.
but it was like one of those like, oh my God. And so I'm sitting at the bar now by myself because we realize, not him, and talk about a good icebreaker on a first like meeting date of being like, Rob, nice to meet you, because I met this other guy. It's like the whole
Did you
time it was a
see
joke.
his date develop later?
So that's the best part of it.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I shouldn't have jumped in.
She was
My bad.
probably more disappointed than I was.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this little blonde walks in or whatever,
That's awesome.
and we were watching the whole time because it was like more fun.
Look, there's the thought was me.
He was like engorged in her, like you could be. He was like the best date ever, and she was like, "Someone save me."
Yeah.
It was like one of those situations. So we were like doing commentary the whole time, but the big joke was like definitely like went up to the wrong guy, and I was like, "Could you imagine?" So just kind of silly and funny, but.
And that is how you guys became.
Well, yeah.
Became what you are today.
Eventually we.
How long ago is this? How long have you guys been married now?
We've been married. It'll be 6 years, and we've been together 11 years.
11.
Oh,
And then you got two. You got two.
We got two
Done?
gremlins.
Are we done? Are we going more?
Yeah,
Are we going three
no.
gremlins?
No, because first
We
of all,
wouldn't dare.
we'd never have a
We
girl.
wouldn't dare.
Two.
Wait, what do you mean? You couldn't have? Like you don't
No,
want to?
I would
you,
know. I'd probably have another
you'd hate
boy.
it?
No,
Oh,
it would just be the
Are
thing.
you saying you want one, but like
I would want a girl.
you'd want a girl, but it would never happen?
Look, I love boys.
That's what happens every time. If you could try to go for that third, it happens. It happens.
Well,
every
also
time.
Jackson did a really good job of being like, "I'm gonna be your last kid." He was
Yeah?
colicky for like 9 months.
Oh, he tried to f you right.
Oh,
out.
tried to. He did. He almost killed me when I had him.
Yeah.
I lost
Of course.
more than half my blood, and they don't know why. And so the doctor was like, "You really shouldn't have another." So
Did you ask him to save it and barrel it? like I can use this for marketing at Fobab. Yeah.
no, it's like
Yeah.
no. Poor Rob's face as he's holding a
Jesus.
newborn, and he's
He's like,
watching.
you're not gonna die, are you?
and he's watching this, and they're like running.
Don't-
He's like,
don't die.
He's holding the baby like, and
Yeah.
I just remember like looking over him, being like, throwing up and like feeling death literally, and he's like got this look on his face like, oh my god.
Like, are you gonna be? Should I throw this thing? Should I get rid of it?
Wait a
Like,
minute.
What do I do here?
We have like a deal, like your package
Me
deal.
and you? Me and
Yeah.
you?
So just two, and they're a handful. They're great. They're 20 months apart though, so it was like a really good idea,
Well, they're boys.
dude.
Our two oldest are 21 months, and they're fine. You know, they're not like, but boys.
Dude,
Two boys.
all they do is beat
Girl,
the crap
boy,
out of each
fine.
other.
Fine.
No, boy is like
Yeah, I hear. That's what I hear.
I'm.
My nephews, same thing.
It's insane.
16 months apart, I think.
Jackson, my 3.5-year-old, has a black eye right now.
Of course he does.
Not from his brother. Oh, and the day it happened, he fell and hit the edge of the butt. So he's got like it was a little cut, and he hit it hard enough, but we didn't think it was going to black eye, and then he didn't. So I show up to his school because I had to work his school that day, like with his class, and show up with this.
Oh, you're doing that too.
And I
Okay.
was like,
good for you.
oh, jeez, I know.
Room mom. You're room momming
Dude,
too, huh?
dude,
Okay.
just
all right. Got all the
pulling off
time in the
more than I
world.
can. Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah, between the
24
festivals,
usable hours in every day.
Between the festivals, I get.
Yeah, with the black eyed kid. And so they're like, what happened? I'm like, oh my God, please don't call DCFS.
Yeah, I kicked him in the fucking jaw. He was,
Talk
he was
back.
talking shit again.
Bag of Valencias.
Yeah.
No, but the two of them, I swear to God, I knock on wood. We haven't been, this isn't wood. I need wood. This
Sure,
is a
it's
serious
kind of
thing.
it's woodish. It's woodish.
Haven't been to the hospital for an injury yet, but holy, yep.
I got wood.
Yep, see?
There it is.
There it
we
is.
did it. We got it.
But yeah, boys.
Yeah, that's what me and my brother we're a couple two plus apart, so it wasn't too bad, but yeah, I hear when the two boys like
My
that,
God.
it can get a little dicey when it comes to anger. Yeah, I mean we have the two and then the big gap between the third one, so it's like everything's cool. The two older ones help raise the little guy, but it's again, it's what you guys do, especially this season in Fobab, is a lot.
Yeah.
What's your kind of like support staff with aside from you? Like Fobab is Fobab like you're the point person for Fobab for Illinois Craft Brewers Guild,
Yeah.
and then like you have
Ray.
like a little crew underneath you,
Oh,
and
well,
then
so-
your volunteers
So,
obviously.
so ICBG is a team of two. It's myself and Ray. So when I think people think of like Illinois Craft Brewers Guild, they almost like think that there's this large staff, and there's not, just two of us. But for Fobab, there's a whole team. There's like team of Fobab. Like I said, that I've worked with for like a decade, some of them. they just know, they just do. Like they're those like magical little fairies that, like, do you know when you were growing up and like you threw your laundry in like the laundry chute and then it would come folded on your bed and you're like, the laundry fairy.
It's in my dresser already.
Yeah.
What the hell happened?
Like Rob still thinks that there's a laundry fairy. So he's like, the laundry fairy didn't fold. I have to fold. I'm like, welcome to the world.
But I'm just saying, like, my shirt was kind of wrinkled. I'm just saying.
It's ridiculous.
Like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like,
can we work a little bit harder next time?
Yeah.
No, but these are like little Fobab fairies, and they just like know what to do, and they just make it happen, and it's amazing because then it allows me to handle things that maybe need to be handled, or at least take a breath and enjoy and like take it in and talk to some of these brewers that came in from out of state. I want to give them some of my time, and so there's a huge support staff, and then you have the design team, you have Bigfoot Media, and you have our PR marketing team, you have Tassie Communications. Like, I couldn't imagine doing what Kristen and Julie do. Like, I can't. I don't.
They're out there getting after it,
dude. And Bigfoot with the design and stuff, and then they do all like the day of and all the magical stuff on the screens that happen at Fobab, and they hand me the pretty little slides of all the winners.
Are you going to be the one reading them this year?
I don't
Who's
think
gonna be at the podium.
I don't know. It's fun. I've done it a couple times, but
if I volunteer, that's what I want to do. I want to be the one that reads them.
You want to do
that
the
would
awards?
be my volunteer. That seems like I want to be president. That's what I just said. I said, Katie, if I volunteer, I want to be president.
Like I'm gonna just be like,
I want to
throwing
be
up the flagpole right there.
Like, yeah.
No, it's fun, but you know what I like? Like I said, I like doing the hugs, and I feel like doing the announcing doesn't give me the opportunity to do like the really big mama bear hug. And
yeah, that's good call.
I don't know.
I want to help them down the stairs at the end of the stage. That's what I want my job.
I do my
be.
thank yous, and I'm I do my little speech and my little spiel, but I don't know. There's so much pressure too on some of these beer names. I'm like, who?
Oh, how about that? I didn't even think about that.
Dude.
Yeah.
The
There's
pressure.
some complications.
I mean,
Phase 3 alone.
Yeah.
Phase 3 alone.
Like, what are you trying to do?
Eunoia, minutiae.
Okay.
It's not minutia. It's minutiae.
And it's not like you just pronounced two beer
Brothership
names
has
that
a
I
couple
like.
too. Brothership has a couple like Unawama, like Messier. Like
sure, barrel aged space debris.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's easy.
We can deal with that.
Like none are like here.
It's pronounced Debris, but no.
Like, oh, that one was pretty easy. I'm trying to see if like there's any.
Look at Weiner took it easy on you too.
I know they did, but like even then,
they
you
didn't
don't
prove
know.
our point.
You don't know if like there's something like weird how you pronounce, and
100%.
So sometimes
there's some comedic element to it, or some very touching element to it, or some very well thought out philosophical element to it.
And you need to like practice. And I know the winners the night before, but then I kind of want to sleep. And
goes back to your broadcasting. See, you were always preparing to broadcast. You had to go know the names. You had to know what positions they're playing. You got to know what kind of offense, defense they're running.
I just, what, I'm okay to like pass that one off to like, the last couple of years, Marty has done it.
Marty.
And he's a barrel aged guru.
Just
and
good hair too.
Yeah, beautiful hair. Maybe one day he'll let me French braid it.
Aging. It's just about the flow. The flow automatically qualifies you.
Yeah.
So what is Katie gonna do? Like what are you gonna do
after?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like
nothing.
Like what is like? Do you plan it? Are you like all right? So on Wednesday or Tuesday or Monday, it's like whatever it is. It's a massage. It's sleep. It's
oh my gosh. So you know what it is?
Take the kids golfing.
It's Thanksgiving week, so the kids have no school. So Jesus. It is. That's exactly what it is.
Hotel
it's like,
room? Like what do you do in a situation?
See you
like
later.
Shut the door.
So I haven't.
Very tired right now.
I haven't taken a vacation. So the last time I was on vacation, and gosh, back in the day, Danielle used to yell at me all the time. I'm just not really good at like taking time off because it's just really hard as a team of two to take time off, and I just feel that
you're just dumping everything on the other person. It's like I know you can handle it, but I don't want you to handle it. Or vice versa.
I feel bad like leaving anything and like not even my maternity leave. I'm like, if anybody, so I wouldn't even call maternity leave. It's not a vacation. Like anybody that does, like, you can go screw off and you can have a child and you can even like, please. Did
you enjoy your vacation?
Some people. Oh man, you want to get punched real hard. That's how. So last time I was on vacation, truly was like the year I started the guild, I went to Mexico for a week. And that was, I'm on my 11th year. So
it was 1974.
before I was born.
I was back in 1970.
So I'm on a plan on just taking, well, obviously it's like Thanksgiving week. So probably like take the boys to like the ball factory. Actually,
Oh yeah,
it was a fun one.
Been done that. Been done that.
You know, maybe I would love a massage. So I have a massage and envy membership that has like 19.
Oh, you have a membership?
I do, but
Get
it's
the
not
fuck
bad.
out of here,
Dude.
You don't use it, do you?
No, I'm the worst. And I just
You
put it.
never go, do you?
I put it on pause, and they were like, "Well, let's look." Oh, Miss Carrier, you have 19 unused massages.
Yeah.
19.
Can you pass those?
I do.
Can you
do.
give those to others?
You can like do
you
like
give
one
me
a month
one?
or whatever. Yeah,
Give
and I
me
do. Oh my God, it's stupid. And the last massage I have is I don't even know how long. So like I do need to give myself a massage, but just to like
Mrs. Carey, you have a 3.5 hour massage. It's free, so if you ever want to come in.
And the funniest part too is like they're like, can we help schedule them? I'm like, can you do babysitting? Like, can you also
Like,
do
how
my
are
work?
you with Excel?
Yeah, right. Like, so I plan to not
You good
open
with
my computer.
spreadsheets, or
Right? Not open my computer. Hopefully, get a massage. Just relax. Spend some time with the boys. Like it's this has been pretty crazy for me, like work wise. So
hey,
hopefully,
we talk shit about them, but those kids are cool.
dude, they're my
kids are
little,
cool.
they're my little boys.
They're little homies.
I don't even know. Just decompress for like a hot minute, and you know, it. Then there's like another little bit of a busyness, with like membership renewals and stuff.
yeah.
But
Jesus,
hopefully,
yeah, because you got to
no rest for
Gotta be
for the
ready.
weary. I tell you. But then hopefully, just enjoy some time around Christmas and stuff.
fam
with the
it
fam
out.
and
Fam it out.
Do
Okay.
you know all the things but you know, it's hard. But yeah, I joke because I'm like, ooh, Thanksgiving. Oh, the
Yeah.
kids are off because the kids were just off Friday, Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday this week.
Fucking, we need a new president. Let's give him a day off.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm like, wait, but I need a day.
the shit are we doing around
Oh,
here,
my
guys?
Goodness. Yeah.
So what is your final, like, one thing that you want? Let's say a new first time Fobab person's I got a ticket. It's my first time going, getting excited about craft beer. How do you want them to leave Fobab?
I want them to have left Fobab with saying, so my goal is always to have the same outcome that I had in my first Fobab, which is
Wanting to volunteer?
yeah, no,
Idiot. You're an idiot.
sucker. No, I want awe. Like I hope that they leave thinking, wow, I just got to try something that I might not ever try again. I just got to try something that is not for sale anywhere. Wow, that was really cool. I got to meet some of the brewers that brewed this beer. And I just hope that they can have as a memorable experience as I did. Because again, I loved it so much that it sucked me in, and you know, now I'm part of it, but
made it a career.
right. But I hope that they can,
Damn it, you're so cool.
they can love it as much as I love it, and loved it. That's my hope. Yeah.
Same thing. How do you want maybe it's his first year, or maybe it's a veteran brewer. How do you want them to leave Fobab?
I want
What's
them.
a success for you?
A success for me is that they had a good time. They weren't stressed. They didn't have to carry a jockey box in. They didn't have to carry a keg in. And that they just had a fun time. It was a
Jockey
party.
boxes.
They ate some good beer. They drank.
They ate some good beer?
Oh my
Come
God.
on.
There you go. There's
Re-rack
that
it.
barrel
Take
age,
that,
right?
rewind it back.
They drank some good beer. They ate some good food. They built some relationships. Maybe they met some brewers that they never met before, and they're going to have a collab. And that they
That's
had
a cool outcome there.
You know.
I like that. I like that thought.
and that they come back next year because they thought, you know what, this is really cool, and it's the fest that I'm going to put on my list to say this is a must do. If we only get to pick one, this is the one we're going to do.
God, I love that. Those are such good answers.
I too.
Almost, the better part of 3 hours we've been talking. I can't thank you enough for doing it. I mean, obviously, I don't think I can squeeze any more Fobab out of you. I think
I was gonna say, I think we got it all.
if they need sound bites for Fobab for the next
We got 'em.
3 decades, I think we got you. I think we took care of it. Just as a friend, I appreciate you coming out here. It was awesome to talk to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure we could do another 6 hours on just Katie the person and kids and Rob and the whole gang. But can't wait to see you out at Workforce Brewing. It'll be happening soon.
You know it.
But again, I know we're kind of empty, but cheers it
Yeah,
anyway. Thank you.
cheers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
Boom.
Appreciate you, friend.
We did it. We did it.
Woof.